I just want you to know that it's all about the kids.
It's always about the kids. Zip truth, the 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 zip truth.
Welcome, Stiffies, to the best episode of the series.
Oh, damn. That was ballsy. That was ballsy.
Welcome to the Stiff Truth. Of course, I am Bob West, and I'm here with the magnificent, the wonderful, the stupendous, the tremendous Scott Casanova.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. Doing great. Happy to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. You know what I'm saying, babe?
I do. I do know what you're saying, as I can hear you, and I speak English. Anyway. So we got a really jam-packed episode today. It's almost too much. And it might be too much, but we're going to do our best to squeeze this episode like a taut breast.
Yeah, I was going to say
out of it.
I was going to say you're running with the prison sex theme until the breast. Then that threw me for a loop. So I guess I can't use that. You know what I mean?
Why can't it be a women's prison? That's misogynistic.
Well, what would you be doing in there? Well, no, I take that back. It does make sense.
I don't know, something with a plunger. But I digress. So we have a lot to talk about today. We have some interesting drinks lined up. For those of us that follow us, you saw that we started our research early yesterday, and we started, by that I mean we started drinking because it's Saturday, and that's what we do because we're,
responsible people,
middle-aged men that like to drink.
This may be the highlight of our week, whatever, you know what I mean?
But how are things going? What's happened since last week? I mean, you mentioned that you went to the pool again. I was really jealous of that.
Yeah, actually, I went to the pool with the fam yesterday. Pools are open here, like the community pools and everything. There's one right by the house, pretty nice. And I like what they're doing. I think the capacity normally is like 125 people, and they're limiting it to about 65 people. And you got to call up and make reservations. So we went and did that yesterday. Beautiful day, beautiful hot day. And dude, I was sitting there thinking to myself, fuck, man. They should always have these limitations on public pools. Usually when I'd go there, like pre-COVID, it's like little fucking shit kids, wall to wall. You can't even like fucking walk around without like getting into this just aura of like warm piss in the pool. There was literally, because there was only 65 people in this large community pool, like it was naturally socially distanced. You know what I mean? The way it was set up, I was like, this is fucking super refreshing. So it was fun, man. Great time. And they had a time limit too. You make your reservation. And I think ours was like 1:40 to like 3:15. And then, that's like the cycle. They get everybody out, they re-chlorine the pool, clean shit up. And then they bring another cycle of people in. So they're doing it smart, but God damn it, man. I'll tell you what, it was a little slice of normality for the summertime, to get out there, be able to kind of, just fucking enjoy the water and the heat, and also be able to see people. So it was a blast, man. What about you? You get in the pool? I know you got one in the backyard. So.
Yeah, but I haven't been swimming lately. I did wrap up school, so I get a little bit of a break from that.
Heyo!
I got COVID-19 with school, so I actually have to take another class and go another semester. So looks like I'll have to take another class in the spring. So that's kind of a bummer, but
this could be another spike of school then, another spike of cases in the schoolwork, so to speak.
I don't know. It's just going to be another few months of garbage, but I am saving my like jerk off classes for the end. So that's good. Because when you're my age, you need a class for that.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier.
but other than that, things are going good. Can't really complain. Everyone's doing good. There's no pools open here that I know of. So that's a shame. But
thank you, Michelle Lujan. Thank you.
It is what it is. I am excited though that I've been going to the store the last few days that I've gone to go to the store, go to the liquor store, get our drinks stuff for the show, And I didn't see a single person not wearing a mask. It was pretty impressive.
Nice. So
So
people are finally starting to understand that the more that some of these people push against the rules, the longer that we're going to have these rules. I think that might start to be clicking for some people.
well, so I'm sitting there in Walmart and I'm like standing in line, socially distanced, of course,
6 feet behind. Yeah, of
waiting
course.
to get to my self checkout spot. And I'm looking around, and I see every single person in a mask, and I'm just like, huh, that like tough guy no mask shit's only for Facebook, huh?
Well, honestly, that's a lot of tough guy shit is literally just for the computer. You know what I mean? When they can hide behind their keyboard. But you're absolutely right. I mean, especially when it's mandated, right? And if you do get caught not wearing a mask, one, I don't even think they're going to let you in the stores anymore. I mean, up here in Colorado, too, there's a sign on every single entrance to every single store saying facial mask required. So if you kind of get past that level of just them telling you, you can get fined $100 in New Mexico, right? $250 in Texas. I mean, it's no
well,
fun
so
game anymore.
$100 in New Mexico is $250 in Texas. Just so let's be clear on that.
This is very true, man. Oh my God. Oh, that is very true. Well, I'll tell you what, too. Something else I just wanted to bring to your attention. A little update here is today's the first day that we have a Hatch green chili marinated beef tri-tip that was put in the Traeger grill at 8:30 this morning. It is cooking at 200 degrees.
If I had the soundbite of Homer doing the gargling thing, that's what's going on in my head right now.
Oh, dude, it's sitting out there smoking, bro. Super, again, slow and slow.
Just keep an eye on it on your phone.
Oh, yeah, baby. And we got the nice plug-in meat thermometers that plug into the Traeger, too, to check the temp when we need to check things out, dude. I'm super excited, bro, because, shit, around dinner time, that thing's going to be in there for, 10 hours or so.
Oh, it's just going to fall apart in your mouth. That's fantastic. I'm a little jelly. I've been eating a new grill for quite some time, but I've been putting it off as much as I possibly can. But times are coming.
And we talked about this too, man. I mean, you've got some options out there. The Traeger's my personal favorite. You talked about Pit Boss. From what I understand, Pit Bosses can run higher temperatures than some Traegers.
Well, they also don't have the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, mine doesn't have the Wi-Fi actually. That's like another model up. I think that one's like $1,000. Mine was $699 or $799. I can't remember. But anyways, it was a little. Honestly, the only thing that's amiss on mine is it doesn't have the Wi-Fi, but it's also got the hugest area for grilling. I mean, I just thought to myself, is the Wi-Fi worth an extra $200? Not really.
No, I get it. And I've been looking too. I really think I am going to go with the pellet as much as I wasn't going to. I just don't want to change out any fires in a smoke box anymore. I just don't want to do it. So I'll probably go with pellet as well when I do it. So, when the time comes, I'll look around and I'll weigh my options and I'll figure out what to do.
You get in there, Bob, because I'll tell you what, you start pellet smoking, you're never going to go back. And you can always have a nice, dude, some of these pellets, they got hickory, they got mesquite, they got apple, all these nice, rich, smoky flavors for all your meat, dude. I just get it done. Get it done.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Later.
I've got one thing on my side. The wife loves it when I grill. So she's pro grill. Now, pro getting a new grill, yes. Pro spending upwards towards $1,000 on one, not so much. So
it's a push and pull kind of relationship. I understand. I mean,
it's a little bit of compromise. It's not quite like the Senate and the House agreeing on the second Corona package, but it is trying to agree on a proper grill going forward.
Well, if she likes you when you grill, and I imagine there's a sexy element to the grilling, right? Especially when you're wearing the apron backwards and you're not wearing any pants. That's always inviting.
Well, you know what it is. You know what's super sexy? When you're not the one that has to cook dinner. That's what's super sexy about grilling. so
you're gonna grill today? Fantastic, babe.
Yes, that's the sexiest part.
Well, I'll tell you, man, it's, I thought we were going to get it this week, Bob, but apparently not. There's going to be a little stalling with picking, the picking of Biden's VP candidate here. I don't think we're going to waste a lot of time talking about it, but we were talking before the show here. You want to throw down a little bit of wager on who we think it's going to be?
Yeah. The question is, what do we wager? I mean, is it like A bottle of scotch?
Done. Let's do it.
What kind of scotch?
I'm going to
What,
reel that back a little bit. Let's go
like
ahead and
Glenlivet?
do. Yeah, let's do a 12-year Glenlivet.
Okay.
About $45.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, let's do that.
All right, fucker. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well,
Oh,
interesting.
I like how you got to take a swig of beer before you answer that question. See, now
I
that there's
do.
a wager involved, you got a little nervous. I see what happened there.
It's serious now.
Hey, any chance you can plug Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you got to do it, sir.
Man, I don't know. I would really like to lean towards Susan Rice, but I just don't think she's personable enough for him to pick.
Interesting.
And honestly, I don't know if she has the experience. Kamala's a really good one, and it seems like a no-brainer to pick Kamala. I just don't know if her feistiness in the debates against Joe Biden is easily overcome.
I see. So the couple of like, hey, Joe, a couple of pops to the fucking midsection. I don't know if we can get over that one to pick her.
Right. So I think I'm going to pick the wild card and not go with a black female candidate like everyone thinks.
Whoa!
He talked with Gretchen, Whitmore, is it?
Yes, of Michigan.
Just a couple of days ago, the governor of Michigan. I'm going to pick her as the dark horse here.
Interesting. I like where you're going here, and I like going kind of with the underdog. Let's just face it, because I'm gonna go in a different direction here. I think honestly, to not pick a woman of color in the climate and what's happened over the past few months would be stupid. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I think he's going to get a lot more sympathetic type votes just from going that direction right now. That's just me. Not saying that, again, that's a sympathy type thing, but you know what I'm trying to say. I am going to go with, I think, who's got the most chops. And I'm looking at this from, let's be honest, Biden wins. What is he, 77, 78 years old, leaning into dementia and all this shit. I don't think he's really going to be running the country. So I think he's
picking the next president.
Yeah, this is exactly my point.
Very well could be.
I'm going to go with the obvious here just because I think it is the obvious, and I'm going to say Kamala Harris.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
So
what
there
happens.
we have it, Stiffies. We got a bottle of scotch writing on this.
Come on, Kamala, get in there and give fucking Joe up, or actually let Joe sniff you or something like that, and reach around or whatever. I mean, just get in there and win for me. I need some scotch. Let's go. Anyway,
we all need some scotch.
Dude, one of the craziest things I've seen in a long time. I mean, unless anybody's living under a rock, they saw this. But dude, did you see those multiple videos? There's a bunch of different vantage points of the blast in Beirut. Did you see that, dude? I mean, obviously you did, but wasn't that fucking intense, man?
Yeah, that mushroom cloud was crazy. And the thing that
hold on, pause. Okay, it's out of my head. You said mushroom cloud. I had to let it get out of my head. Okay, proceed.
Started going with like some sublime lyrics. The crazy thing was like, yeah, the explosion was crazy, and the carnage and the death that it's caused is crazy, but the hole that it left in the earth and the nothingness around the center of the blast radius was incredible. Just what once was here is now gone, and just boom, total destruction.
It was like the Nothing. I just watched the Neverending Story recently, and it reminds me of the Nothing right there, dude. Because I saw like these before and after like pictures. I can't remember if I saw it on Twitter or something like that. It was like, here's the harbor before and after, and you're like, where the fuck is all the buildings, and what's this giant fucking hole? I mean, it's literally. It's pretty fucking impressive in the sense, like, watching that video, dude, you start, and I get it, right? They're like, it was like, was it, correct me if I'm wrong, because I get a little bit cross with these details, but from what I understand, the first thing that I heard is it was on a boat, correct? Or was this, okay, it was on a boat that was kind of pulling into the harbor, or maybe just docked at the harbor, and was carrying a shitload of fireworks that you could see in before the second explosion, which was fucking the apex explosion, if you ask me. But like, you could see all these little, like, out of the kind of gray clouds and shit, like little fireworks coming out and shit like that. And honestly, I think that's why people were filming it. They're, oh, this is kind of fucking crazy. Look at this shit, not knowing that in a few seconds it was like boom, boom, and then like all of a sudden, I thought it was like an atomic shockwave, dude, is what it looked like from some of those camera angles.
Well, it looked like a smart bomb, right? Like so so those that don't know, smart bombs are basically mini nuclear devices, right? And so they're the target. So we all know, like, the hydrogen bomb and the devastation that causes, Nagasaki. We all know about that. So where we've gone since then is smaller, more precise, laser guided, targeted bombs, right? And these things are still little nukes, but they're very small, but they do this devastating damage like that. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm saying that's just the devastation in the crater looked like literally like a nuclear bomb had gone off. Insane.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, man. Like, when I watched a couple of different videos, it was two different guys. I think one guy was kind of looked like he was in a high-rise, like apartment building or something like that, like kind of filming it from his balcony. But both that guy and the other video I saw, once that second fucking like just blast wave came out, dude, it literally looked like it was going to overtake them, and like incinerate them. It was fucking crazy looking. Now, that's obviously not just fireworks right now. And you dived into this a little bit more. I mentioned the thing about some type of manure or something like that they were storing, but that's not exactly the case. I mean, what are we talking about here? What can make that kind of explosion, Bob, beyond maybe a smart bomb?
Apparently in the warehouse there was a cache of ammonium nitrate and a weapons cache that the government had procured and had been storing there for like a couple decades. They just had them there for whatever reason. So if that's really the case, just the lack of oversight and controls is pretty appalling. And I think the people of Beirut agree, as many have now, several days later, given up on the hunt for survivors and have taken to the streets to protest the government, lack of action and lack of control. And demanding change, demanding something better. And you deserve better than your government to keep like explosives in your harbor, just chilling in the middle of the city.
I was about this. I'm thinking to myself here, it's like they're storing ammonium nitrate in large quantities. And I'm assuming that wasn't on the boat, right? That was actually in the harbor, right? Yeah. In a building, just being stored forever. It seems to me anything that highly explosive, you maybe would move a little bit outside the city and away from people. I don't know. Just call me crazy.
Yeah, or why would you not take it to somewhere else to like break that ammonium nitrate up into smaller places, or find a better way to store it or dismantle those old bombs? Why would you just like have them chilling in the middle of your harbor? It's so weird.
Well, I mean, just randomly, why were they even storing them there in the first place?
That's the good question, because we all know. And sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear my phone going crazy, but I'm gonna
really fucking professional, Bob. You know what I mean?
That's what I aim to do.
I
try to teach. This is a learning moment. Okay, this is a teaching moment.
Well, and you know why? Like we've said before, this is all for the kids, right? It's all about the kids. So kids, when you're recording a live show, turn your phones off. Just like the same respect and courtesy you give to folks when you go into the movie theater. Do you remember those, by the way, movie theaters? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I once watched Batman in one. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think the last movie I saw was Joker.
That's weird. Mm-hmm. That's the last movie I saw.
I think we had talked about this before. Anyways, total sidebar.
Yeah. So, it's unfortunate what happened in Beirut. It is fortunate that kind of is an industrial area because it's a port. And so I hate to say it like that, but only 160 people or something have been found so far.
Oh shit. That's actually that's over double. Initially I heard only 71 died or something like that, but that was days ago.
They keep finding bodies at this point, but
it's kind of like your basement,
much worse, man, because that was yes, exactly. It could have been much worse because that bomb was like bigger than the Oklahoma City bombing.
Jesus, man.
So, yeah, it could have been worse. So, thoughts and prayers for those folks across the ocean over there dealing with that, because that sucks.
And honestly, I know thoughts and prayers. I mean, we just want to give our condolences and our empathy for these people. We're not, and Stiffies, I do have to emphasize this. We are not like Taint Reeves and not thinking that thoughts and prayers are actually going to bring people back from the dead and fix everything up over there, rebuild the buildings, fill in the crater. I understand that. Okay. So pump the brakes, everybody. We just want to give our condolences and our thoughts and prayers to the people over there.
Yeah, I tried that once. I tried to get my 4-hour erection to go away with thoughts and prayers, and I still had to go to the doctor.
It's like Bob, I got to ask you, why did you wait 16 hours to come here? You knew after 4 hours it was dangerous. I was like, well, I was really digging into some thoughts and prayers. I thought if I prayed long enough, it would go away. Well, good old Taint. I saw him actually on Fox News a couple of times this week. He's really on there a lot, and he's changed his fucking tune. I don't really want to get into it so much, but it's funny when like your, fellow congressmen and, other politicians in your state, and then people in your state start dying and your cases start exploding when you change your tune. I just thought that was interesting.
Would you say that he found out that the virus started to affect his people?
I think him and President Trump both had the same epiphanies. Anyways, you know what I mean? Bob, some exciting stuff going on here. We got to talk about it, Bob. Instacart, baby. Bring it in.
Well, I can't hear you. Your microphone's across the room.
Oh, Instacart, baby.
Yeah. We've got a new affiliate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you guys will be hearing a little bit more about Instacart on this show. Mm-hmm. So they're a great company. They offer a great service that seems oddly specifically catered to us and our audience.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Yeah, if for some reason you find yourself to where it might be a little bit dangerous or irresponsible to get out in your car and go run errands and grocery shop while you're, let's face it, inebriated or had a few cocktails throughout the day. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of value. So I'm really happy about this affiliation.
Yeah, so the next time you're microdosing, use Instacart.
Or microdosing, or you just got a 10 strip of acid in your upper lip. Maybe then if you can find the phone and just find your computer and actually open it up and be able to register how to work it. Yeah. Go ahead and dial them up.
Oh man, just grit your teeth and rub your jaw and go to instacart.com.
But yeah, no, Stiffies, you'll hear more about that. I want to say post-show, pre-show, middle show. Not sure, but they'll hear it, right?
Yeah, we'll find a place to throw it in there.
Good stuff, man. Well,
we want to bombard our Stiffies with commercials so that they think we're pieces of shit. So that's good.
That's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, we're halfway there. We already know we're pieces of shit, but other people, I think they might be a little optimistic. Be like, these guys are just being funny. This is not really them. They seem like good guys. No, we are fucking pieces of shit. We're real pieces of work. In fact,
soon to be proven sellouts.
Oh my God, that reminds me of Wayne's World right there. I want to be Garth wearing all Pepsi gear and Reebok gear, shit, just loving life. That's great stuff, man. Good stuff.
Well, you know what else is great stuff? Our stiff drink.
Oh, you know what? This one, it's interesting, man, because like anybody that's following us on Facebook, or did we put it on Instagram? I don't think I put it on Instagram.
No, I was going to last night, and I got sidetracked with drinking.
This will happen. Another reason why they should have Instacart for posting stuff on social media too, right? Just kind of.
Right. If there was an Insta media, that'd be great.
Right? You're just sitting there, and it's kind of like a combination of Alexa and Instacart for social media. You're like, hey, post this on Instagram.
and some of our Stiffies are out there like, guys, that exists. They're called employees.
Yes. Well, hey. Yeah, we definitely should go mix up these cocktails, my friend, because we got some, like you said, an action-packed show. So
yeah, we really do. Let's go get 2. We'll need 2, right?
Hey, Utah, give me 2.
2 for sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go get 2, and we'll be back.
All right.
Cheers, Scotty.
Oh, cheers all the way. Cheers to your tits.
Cheers for fears.
Oh, it's a great band.
Cheers for beers.
Recline that thing all the way back. Pour yourself a nice little bottle of bubbly.
Whew. All right. I'll tell you what. A quick little, what do we call it? A 115er instead of a nooner?
Nice. 113 to 115. Good.
and on my way. No, be honest with you, dude. She was like, "Hey, do you got enough to make me?" And I didn't have enough Jaeger, and I was like, I don't. And she's like, got a sad face, and I was like, "Do you want me to make you Mai Tai?" And she's like, no. I was like, "What about RV Wallbang?" And she's like, "Oh, that sounds good." So there I was down there mixing up drinks like a badass in the bar. So
Yeah,
can't complain. So
yeah,
you want to quit staring at your penis for a little while? No, it's pretty impressive. But,
I'm investing right now, so you can't see, but I'm. And while I'm like sitting here waiting, I figured I'd go ahead and like get my invest on.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But if you're ready to, do a show, then I guess we're good.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bobby. Check this bad boy out. See, I did mine with like the guy in the video too with that shaker. I shook it like a madman. I got the chunk of pineapple. I know he used lime. I squirted lime in mine. I did squirt some lime. But
okay.
let's see what you're working with, bud.
Boom. A surfer on acid, my friend.
Yes, sir, it is.
So.
The surfer. Bottoms up, buddy. Bottoms up.
For those of you that don't know, let me break this drink down. So you mix in coconut rum and pineapple juice, fresh.
All right, Sven, tell us what else.
But then in a shaker, of course, over ice. So it's a shaker, not stirred. So you then strain that into your glass with ice, and then you add in another shot of Jaeger. I floated mine for color, and I like that kick of Jaeger at the top because I like Jaeger. I like licorice tasting things. But that's about it. This actually started off as a shot and has evolved over to also be a drink because as a shot, it lacks a little merit. Because you're talking about a half a shot of Jaeger, a quarter shot of rum, and like a little bit of pineapple juice. It's just not much there. If you're gonna shoot something, you should like man up. But
Sure.
But as a drink, solid.
Oh, and here's what I heard too. There's not much history on this bad boy, although it was originally, like you said, it was a shot. And then what is it? Eric Trukowski or something like that. Trukowski or something. Anyways, he in the 1990s kind of stumbled upon what we're drinking right now because he was serving some women at his bar. He was a bartender or what have you, and just didn't want to make it a shot. He wanted to make it a little bit more of an actual tall drink, right? So hence it was born. I think it's refreshing as fuck. Now it's funny too. Jamie doesn't even like Jägermeister. In fact, she despises it. But yet she just asked for one when I was mixing one up. So
you know what's interesting with the Jaeger? We've been going with very, very herbal liqueurs and drinks lately, right? Because Galliano, the Benedictine, and the Jaeger all kind of live in the same, if not the same house, definitely the same city.
They really do. It is. I was kind of saying that yesterday too when we were mixing them up. I mean, Jaeger I'll say this. It's the cheapest one out of all of them. It may be a little bit more of the mid-shelf one versus the other two, but they are very much related. Yeah, they're in the same warehouse. They all have that little bit of licoricey, kind of floral, herbal kind of stuff going on. This was great, dude. I mean, obviously we got it for the show because we are going to dive into a little bit more of the psychedelic world here in a little bit. But I'm pleasantly surprised with it. I had 3 of them yesterday. So
yeah, I had a few of them yesterday too. I'm just a huge fan of Jaeger, always have. I got hooked on Jaeger in my 20s, snowboarding. I just kind of roll with a pint of Jaeger in my jacket everywhere I went for those long, cold, chairlift rides.
Dude, I'm telling you what, that was actually, it's not my first introduction to Jaeger, but I remember that too. When I used to go skiing up in Taos in high school, even, there was a guy, and I was probably like 16, 17 at this time. And there was a guy mid-20s, kind of like, burnout kind of pothead dude or whatever from California that was going up the lifts talking to me and my buddy. And he passed me the flask of Jaeger going up that. And I was like, perfect. It's so great ice cold, but yet it's so warming and down the throat and in the stomach. It's literally the best recreational drink for skiing or snowboarding. I agree.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing that I'm not an advocate of getting drunk while you snowboard. But if you are going to partake and have a few drinks, I say that it's okay. I say okay to Jaeger.
Who was skiing? God damn it, I got to look it up now. There was a Kennedy that died skiing. He ran into a tree. Do you remember that?
No, Sonny Bono did.
Michael Kennedy. Decades of family-old tradition was shattered by the death of Michael Kennedy, a 39-year-old son of the late Robert F. Kennedy. He died of head and neck injuries after an accident on Aspen Mountain ski slope on New Year's Eve.
An accident.
Yeah, it's just like all the other Kennedys.
Those trees tend to jump right out at you when you're skiing.
Well, you never know. Maybe he was enjoying too much Jaeger on a few chairlifts, and then he kind of lost control. And
I've enjoyed plenty of Jaeger. I've never seen a tree jump out in front of me.
Well, Bob, I'm not going to downplay you or anything, but you're also not a Kennedy. Okay.
That's true. That's true. I don't have the whole world trying to get trees to come in front of me.
Tell you, that's what happens when you're powerful and famous or infamous or whatever you want to say. But
you'll find out soon enough, Scott.
Yeah, I will. Did you tell the Stiffies? And I'm sorry because I wasn't paying attention to you, which I tend to do sometimes. Did you tell everybody what's in this one besides Jaeger?
I did tell everyone what's in it, but I don't think did we tell the name?
Yeah, Surfer on Acid.
There we go.
Yeah, I think we said that because I said we're going to dive into this. You know what? The short-term memory is horrible. And here's the other thing. I ran out of edibles like on Monday night, so I have no fucking excuse. I have had no THC in my body for nearly a week now. So it's all up to you.
To be fair, there was a lot of research that went into this show. So I'm kind of holding a lot of those in my memory nodes. So I really don't care about the name of the drink.
So, and you're pushing everything else out. You're all short-term memory. Get the fuck out of there. I got to remember shit for this show.
Yeah, it's like how you take tests in college.
Exactly. Cram
hold it for a second, pass your tests, and then forget it like it never happened. Like that one time in prison.
I was just going to say something similar. I'm glad you jumped right to that. We're always on the same
or high school or grade school or whatever.
Whatever. Just the homoerotic same page, that we were on there. Fantastic stuff. Well, you know what time it is, Bob? It is. I'm glad we're diving into it a little bit early too, and I do apologize for my tardiness of getting back here. Obviously, the Stiffies with our movie magic will have no idea that happened. But
there you go. I was going to say they won't know.
Exactly. But I do. I had to make Jamie a Harvey Wallbanger. Had to do it, man. I just had to do it.
I mean, I had enough time to create an investment account, so that's something.
That is something, and good for you. I like that you're always forward thinking like that and planning for the future.
Well, really, I just kind of want to get down on some Apple. So.
Yeah, well, smart man.
I mean, I don't want to own one. I just want to own stock.
I'm ready to I wish I had some insider information, man, because there's 3 now pharmaceutical companies that are in phase 3 trials of the vaccine. I'm like Merck, Pfizer. Who do I go with? Who do I start buying up all their stock?
I mean, it's tough, but I would just diversify and just kind of put a little bit into all of them. You're not going to go wrong. It's just you might miss the lotto or not, but I would just throw at least a few $100 and split them up and see.
I know. I'm gonna throw everything and Pfizer and Merck and then Glasgow Klein Smith is gonna come out with it. I'm gonna be fucking assed out, something crazy like that. You never know what's gonna happen, man. But,
yeah, it's gonna be AstraZeneca and then all of us.
Oh God damn it! I knew I should have put all my fucking eggs in that basket, but man, this is such a good, refreshing drink. I honestly, I will tell you this. I'm a Jaeger fan, but mixing it has not been a thing I've ever done. Have you? I mean, I've never mixed it before.
No, that was the allure to picking this when we were looking at our drinks, last week or the week before, was, let's drink some Jaeger. It was just kind of an excuse for me to go buy some and drink some. It's been so long. It's one of my favorites. I just don't ever really get to have it very much because I'm the only one who likes it.
And you're kind of an adult now in the sense that you don't just chug Jaeger by yourself, in the bathroom anymore.
And chase
Do you?
it with a Red Bull.
Yeah. Actually, that'll tell you what. That was the last time I think I had Jaeger. Was at the bar, and I was doing I was doing some Jaeger bombs, and those are great, man. Those are fantastic. Talk about keeping the party going without doing cocaine or meth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love Jaeger and Red Bull. I'll just slam a couple of pints of Red Bull with my Jaeger, and you're good. And before you know it, you wake up the next day and it's terrible. But
that's okay. That lovely black liquor. I love black licorice too. I can tell everybody that just likes cherry, like cherry licorice, get the fuck out of here with that shit. All right, black licorice is the shit, man. Okay, that's all I got to say. Don't be a dick, Bob.
They make cherry licorice for the kids.
Well, shit. This show's usually all about the kids, but now I'm telling everybody to fuck off if they like cherry licorice. Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm an enigma, Bob. I'm an enigma. Very
you take
much
that drink. I'm going to introduce our conspiracy theory.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I swear, guys, there's going to be another dramatic uptick in production someday soon, but it'll probably be after we're done with our conspiracy segment. But please continue, Bob. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about 9/11. Bum, bum, bum. Too soon? No, it's not too soon.
It's been 19 years. I hope it's not too soon. I hope I don't get too many.
Oddly enough, we were together that day when that happened.
This is, you know what? I didn't even think about that because, you know what? Now I do remember like it was yesterday because I, as I usually did at J10, got way too hammered. I was supposed to go to UNM to class that morning, but I overslept again. And I get up kind of disoriented to, I believe you, or were you already awake? I know Dustin was awake, right?
I was up watching it. Yeah.
And we started watching the TV. I believe this was like before even like the second tower was hit or something like that. We kind of watched everything unfold.
We were all watching it when the second plane hit.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Very it was, go ahead and say now.
Me, you, and Dustin Holtusen making
right.
an appearance on the show. We love you, Dustin.
He was a good friend of the show.
And I think it was just us three, right?
I believe so. It might, maybe Angel was there or something. I don't know.
But it could have been an Angel.
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of always just kind of snuck his way into places. But anyways, 9/11. Yeah, now we did see this go down. I'll tell you what, it was very fucking surreal, very sad, very horrible, very horrific fucking thing that happened. But it was pretty intense and to a certain extent, I don't want to use the word amazing, but it was pretty amazing in the sense that I couldn't believe this was fucking happening in New York City while we were just hanging out. And I think we started drinking that morning just because, like, I'm not going to school, dude. This is fucking nuts, man. We got to have a cocktail and relax.
Well, so for a little bit of context, we worked evenings, right? So let's add that in there first, so people understand why we stay up till 5 a.m. drinking.
Well, I guess that's kind of an excuse.
we worked evenings, but then so I'm up and it's pretty early in the morning, and I turn on the TV and I'm like, why is New York like on fire?
On every channel too. Every
so
channel.
I just start like waking everyone up. I'm like, guys, New York is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? So we all go and we're checking out. And we're like, holy shit. They're saying a plane hit it or whatever. And then like not too long after that, boom, second plane come in. Boom. We're all watching it. Like insane. So for the conspiracy theories about, no, planes never hit it. Well, I was kind of watching it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they kind of like did hit it. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know if we had the CGI yet to really make it look that good, too, either in 2001. I'm just going to go ahead and say that, too,
Not live.
No.
So there is that. But there's a bunch of shadiness also with 9/11. So there's plenty of room for conspiracy theories. And I know that the naysayers out there would be like, oh, it's just one of those things, the Al-Qaeda, right? Was it Al-Qaeda? Was it? No, it's the Taliban? Who was it then?
I can't remember, honestly. I just know they blamed it on bin Laden and his family.
So whoever bin Laden was the head of, I can't remember if it's the Taliban or Al-Qaeda, which I don't know why I can't remember that. Well, I kind of know. I do. But the interesting thing is as we're watching, and looking back on some of these things and some of the events, the interviews.
It's Al Qaeda, by the way. I just fact checked.
Okay, good. Al Qaeda. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
The interesting thing about that for me was several witnesses reported explosions before the first plane hit.
Yes.
So, in fact, one eyewitness says the explosion from the basement of the building was so powerful that it sent everyone on his floor that was standing there in the air.
Yeah.
Like, it lifted them all up off of the ground.
Mhm.
The explosion was so powerful. And then when everyone's like, what the fuck was that? Then the plane hit the building. Right. So there's that weirdness that goes on there. And if you look at the smoke and what's happening there, so the plane hits the building, whatever, but then when you look at the bottom of the building, there is already smoke coming out of the bottom of the building.
They even showed that on TV. They showed
Yes.
it. They panned down. And I want to say there was at least a half a dozen eyewitness accounts, people that were interviewed, saying that they heard explosions or were a part of the explosions in the multiple, right? It was like B1, B2 or whatever, the basement, everything. And there was people starting to get debris and all this other shit and, from those explosions prior, again, to any planes hitting. So it's almost like, again, kind of putting the tinfoil hat on, which is the whole purpose of this here, is it's almost like they didn't have it timed quite right. You know what I mean? Like the guy with the fucking
little early.
Yeah, the guy with the detonator was like boom, and then the plane's still 5-10 seconds away. You know what I mean? That was pretty interesting right there. I don't think they can explain that part.
You know what though? For an amateur, it's really hard to get your trigonometry right for the glide scope to match up to the exact second with your speed and descending rate. That's very, very hard for amateur pilots, I'm sure. So for them to be that 5 to 10 seconds off, still pretty good.
Not bad. Hey, let's face it. A lot of people buy the story, right? So apparently, that is what it is. That seemed to work out pretty well there. But there's some other things that were surrounding that was pretty interesting too. And I know we read an article from Popular Mechanics, right? It's obviously to try to debunk all the conspiracy.
Which came out years later, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
10 years later or something that came out.
Here's the thing. One, I just don't buy it for a couple of reasons. One, and I think most importantly, is the heat. This apparently, according to Popular Mechanics in this study done, and it wasn't Popular Mechanics, I forgot the group that came out with it, so please forgive me. Maybe you can fact check that real quick or something. But they're basically saying that fire did cause the molten steel. And all these things that, again, the conspiracy theorists were like, this can't happen. This is not fucking feasible. This is not reality based. But it did say a few times in that study that this is the first account where we realize that fire can cause this kind of damage, and it's making us rethink how we build large structures. This is the first fucking time. You know what I mean, dude? That kind of stuck out to me as being a little bit suspect right there. How I'm sure, and I'm not going to, I'm sure people could, say I'm full of shit, which is totally fine. But I'm sure there's been other planes that have run into buildings in the world, right, where you would have the same evidence or something like that, or just horrible fires where the sprinkler systems failed, because that was the big thing they said.
Similar temperatures, right?
Yeah. Similar temperatures that disintegrated fucking steel and all this stuff and turned it into molten lava pretty much. That's one thing I didn't buy, because apparently this was the first example of this happening. Beforehand, this was thought not to be possible, and that's why the conspiracy holds kind of a lot of weight.
It's thought not to be possible because it's not possible.
Right. It was not to be possible until 9/11. But the other thing is this that I thought was extremely enlightening is they talk about all this kind of, let's just, engineering mechanics and how this can happen. The building can collapse at a speed of free fall. And remember, that's something that the conspiracy theorists say that's not possible.
Less than 10 seconds for that building to come down completely.
Yeah. Unless it's a controlled demolition, then it can go down at free fall. But by a plane hitting it, by fire catching on the things to slowly take it down, that's not supposed to be possible. But they kind of break it down in that study done that Popular Mechanics published that it can, and this is the first instance of it. However, take the Tower 2, Tower 3, and Tower 7 out of the scenario, right? They don't fucking mention anything in that study about how the plane that allegedly flew almost like a fucking pro fucking video gamer, flew into the Pentagon at a very low altitude and just fucking disintegrated. It vaporized pretty much. They don't talk about that at all.
Through a parking lot.
No.
with all of the light poles still standing in the parking lot.
Of course, like he's fucking bobbing and weaving. He
Like,
was
this guy was incredible.
I'm going to plug him again. I usually do. I love the guy. But this was Tom Cruise's Maverick that was obviously flying the plane. I mean, he was a badass. He got in there. So they mentioned nothing about that and what's supposed to debunk the theory, the conspiracy theories about 9/11 being a cover-up or being just foul play in general. And then the other thing that they don't mention, too, is the plane, what was it, Shanksville?
The Pennsylvania one?
Yeah, Shanksville, Pennsylvania. They don't mention anything about that. And that's the other thing that's very interesting is you look at the crash site. There's fucking nothing there. There is no or very minimal any kind of evidence of a plane, any kind of debris. And what they did on that video is they showed several different commercial planes, which it was a 757, showed several different other commercial plane, like, you know, sites of crash sites, and there was fucking debris everywhere.
There's
and pieces of
everywhere.
pieces of plane, pieces of blah. So there's literally, again, completely vaporized in Shanksville in a field, and then 6 miles away from that there was some debris because that always happens.
So let's just like add that in there, right? So there was it was a twin engine. They had like what, Rolls-Royce engines they were.
When they said that, I was pretty impressed. I was like, "Oh, goddamn!"
Rolls-Royce jet engines, and these engines weighed 6 tons apiece. So 12,000 pounds of engine here, and those engines are made out of forged steel and titanium. So the thing about that is jet fuel temperatures can't reach a temperature chemically to burn at a temperature that would disintegrate those engines entirely.
Especially titanium. You know what I mean?
Very, very interesting that's the story they're sticking to, even though it's physically outside of the realm of what is known. That's as nice as I can land that one.
Yeah, I could say it's utter bullshit, but I like the way you said it. The way you said it was much more elegant. But yeah, no, and that's the sticking point for me is I can read all the things, and let's be honest here. A lot of these things that I think that are coming out, they're government pushed. You know what I mean? A lot of I believe a lot of these debunking like studies and everything like that, they're probably funded behind the scenes by some government agency, and they really ignore a lot of these facts that I think are glaring, like you were just talking about.
My son asked me yesterday when I was kind of doing the research for the show. He's just like,
wait, how many drinks were you in when he asked you this question?
Yesterday I hadn't started drinking yet.
Oh, okay. I was kind of
remember yesterday I took an abnormal amount of time before I started getting hammered.
Yeah, it was weird. I was texting you. I was like, yeah, man, these fucking surfers on acid are fucking amazing. And you're like, yeah, I haven't had one yet. I'm like, what?
I know. I was doing stuff. But
fucking responsible Bob.
So I was talking to my son, and he asked why. Why would we do that? What would we have to gain? And then I had to like really like break it down to him how the world works.
Son, come here and sit on my lap.
I said, let me explain to you a couple of things that have happened in American history that were uber fucking shady. The Lusitania, we're going to take it back to fucking World War I.
Good for you.
So there was intelligence saying that German U-boats were out there sinking passenger ships on the way to the UK from America. And knowing that, we sent the Lusitania out there with no escort, no nothing, and just went right in the middle of hostile early World War I. And they sank our ship, and that gave us the exact way to get in to the war, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that whole Lusitania thing. Fast forward to World War II. Our economy fucking sucks. We're still reeling from the Great Depression, the stock market crash of 29, right? And then all of a sudden, we're the most, or if not the most, one of the most technologically advanced communications-wise armies and air forces in the world. And we didn't know that the Japanese Navy was coming to Pearl Harbor, so there's always been suspected that was allowed to happen so that we would then have an excuse, because until then, the axis of evil wasn't messing with America because they didn't want America in the war.
No,
right?
they used to
say
they used to call America the sleeping giant and like leave the giant sleeping. You know what I mean?
And we had the whole mentality at the time of nationalism and independence. We just wanted to do our thing. Y'all do y'all's war. We're going to stay out of it.
I got to say this. what happened to that mindset? You know what I mean? Christ, bring it back. That's all I
I
gotta
know. Hey, 12,000 soldiers at a time.
say.
so 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 then there's that speculation that could have been the reason, and then all of a sudden we're in the war machine, right? Our economy is instantly better, and then I had to explain to my son the supply and demand of economics, and well, why does that help? And it's just like, well, there was no need in sales.
Mhm.
Now there is all the need in sales,
Sure.
and it's driving the machine. War has always been a way to drive the economy since back in the day, back in Roman times. That's why they were always at war. So fast forward now, and I was like, same thing. We hadn't been at war, and we didn't have any prospects of war since the Persian Gulf War of Kuwait, right?
And let's go ahead and face it, dude. I mean, we were alive. We weren't super old then. That was a pretty sad war.
We went in and like slapped the shit out of that.
Yeah, we really did.
It wasn't
really
a war.
did.
That was just us being the oppressor at that
No,
time.
it's like,
But,
hey,
don't invade an ally, especially one that has oil.
oh no, don't fuck around. Hey, you definitely need some America if that's gonna happen.
Yes.
All right,
So
you're gonna
we
take
brought
our
in
oil.
our big ass American flags and dicks and laid them all out there. So fast forward, 10 years, there was no prospects of war, right?
Oh,
No one's
America.
really jumping. The Cold War's ended. We're
Mhm.
doing economic, trade deals with China. Like there's just no possible threat of a war. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get 9/11, and now we're involved in a war that's still going on to this day.
Oh, the
And
war
then
on terror.
You want to fast forward to the Carlyle Group and all of that gets involved there, and all the money that's been churning from this war on terrorism. I gave finger quotes there, folks. Finger quotes. So a couple of interesting things about that I'll get to, but I want to let you take that drink and then say your piece, because I feel like it's your turn.
Thanks for passing the torch. But no, you're absolutely right. I think one of the biggest things is we really don't have the kind of economy that we do in peacetime, right? I mean, let's just face it, right? That's the way it breaks down. We start to kind of disintegrate and just start to break down the masses of wealth that comes
We don't
from
know what to do in peacetime.
No, we really don't. It's kind of fucking sad. We always say we want to preach world peace and everything, but the people that are in charge and the people that pull the strings definitely don't want that. Carlyle Group was a great thing. Halliburton, right? Yeah, I mean, all these other groups that made shitloads of money from the war on terror. And this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey too, because I'm not going to sit here and say that George Bush and Dick Cheney were directly involved with this, but I guess I'm going to say that, right? I mean, literally, this is especially the Bush family. I mean, you go back to Herbert Walker Bush and his relationship, like meeting with bin Laden's family, in the Middle East, bringing them to America. Like the ties there are pretty fucking crazy. And then I believe this wasn't even bin Laden's brother having breakfast at the White House or something like that.
I have some notes here.
Okay, good.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In January 2001, oh no, that's Senior Bush. So Bin Laden, his older brother Salim.
Oh, good old Salim.
No, sorry. I'm mixing up the brothers. Shafiq. Right? And,
I always get those two mixed up.
of course, me too.
Shalim, Shafiq, you know what I mean?
On the morning.
Yes, the morning of
September 11th, 2001, the Carlyle Group was having a conference in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Bin Laden's older brother, Shafiq bin Laden, was in attendance.
Yeah, but it's just crazy, man, because then the one thing, and it's the montage on that documentary that we're watching too, is literally, well, what's the point? Why would this happen? Why would there be any cover up? Why would the government be involved? And you could see the rhetoric and the narrative being pushed of terrorism, the war on terror, the dirty terrorists, the horrible terrorists. We need to take care of them. It's like it was preached from like so many different politicians. I think that most notably Giuliani, Cheney, and Bush, right? We're just fucking pushing that fucking out. And fear makes money, right? And fear gets the American people on board too. And when, again, just like Pearl Harbor, when Americans, rightfully so, think another country has invaded us and killed and tragically just demolished like an entire faction of our people, we rightfully should get pretty pissed off and want some retaliation. Now, is it warranted? Was it real? Again, that's kind of where the conspiracy is. But God damn it, there's so many ties. And the other thing that I thought was pretty interesting to do is like, weren't we warned by like several different foreign nations prior to 9/11 that Al Qaeda or some terrorist group was planning attack on the United States, and they were actually planning it to do it through plane?
Yes.
I believe
In
that's the
fact,
case.
exactly while that was happening, the I think it was the CIA, it might have been the FBI. It was the FBI,
Mhm.
right? We're actually running a military operation simulating a plane hitting the World Trade Center.
That was the other interesting part too. They decided to do it same day, right? Because that makes sense. And here's the
Yes.
other thing. Response, right? To scramble, what was it, F-16s and stuff like that, to get them in the air to basically counterattack these kind of terrorist, terrorism by plane. I think usually the response time was within 10 minutes. That's the average response time. But because they were running a simulation that same day with the same scenario, the exact same fucking scenario, that they were going to apprehend terrorists that hijack planes. That was their little simulation that they were running. And they ran that the same day as 9/11. And if I remember correctly, it took 80 or more minutes for them to intercept or try to intercept the planes that flew into the towers, flew into the Pentagon, and that was too late, which I thought was very interesting.
One of the commanding officers in charge even asked the question, is this simulated or real?
Yeah, he's like, is this real life or is this the simulation? Because we're actually running the simulation identical to this right now. So It's almost like it's muddying the waters right there. It's really saying, hey, you know what? If this is a real thing going on, we're not going to be able to differentiate and understand who's who and what's what right now, because we're literally running a drill that's identical to what's going on. That's reality. Pretty fucking clever, if I want to say so myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit. In fact, I took a few notes last night as I rewatched it and
Holy
actually
shit.
took notes.
Look at this guy,
I know,
Bob.
I know.
You're stepping it up.
So a couple of things. They're talking to the architects about the building itself, right? And one of the architects said the building was designed to be hit by a plane. And he said, in fact, the building was designed that it could be hit by several jetliners and still stand.
I was just going to say that. I was going to correct you and say it wasn't designed to be hit by a plane. Like, hey, look at this building. It's going to be hit by a plane tomorrow. We just built it just for that.
Right.
No, to withstand
they designed it to withstand not just one, but several. So the design of that thing was ironclad, right? That's very interesting. There's a couple of other interesting things. Some ties that people might not know, right? And this may neither be here or there or whatever. But there's a fellow by the name of Jim Bath. And Jim Bath is a formal National Guard pilot, friend of George Bush. I guess they served together. They've been friends a long time and known each other for a really long time.
I believe it's Jim Bathurst.
Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you. So this man is actually also the accountant for the American investment and affairs of the Bin Laden family.
Oh, my God. Now, that's just a crazy coincidence, right, Bob? I mean, seriously.
Of course. In 1998 and 2000, George H.W. Bush went out and, had dinner with the Bin Laden family representing the Carlyle Group.
Now, honestly, Bob, let's just go ahead and just pump the brakes right there. What the fuck would the former president, because at this time he's the former president, what would the former president of the United States be doing having dinner? I don't care if he's representing the Carlyle Group. That's obviously a war machine company. What would he be doing with a known terrorist family that's been known to be a terrorist family since the early fucking 80s? Let's just stop right there. I think that smells like fucking horseshit.
Well, I'll tell you this. I bet it had nothing to do with the fact that his son was probably going to be the GOP candidate for president.
Probably not, right? I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. Old W then was snorting coke off some stripper's tits at that time, I bet.
And this kind of takes me back to the conversation with my son, just about like all of this.
Snorting coke off stripper's tits?
I had to explain Collateral Damage.
The movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes. I said,
I'm sorry.
I said, so the people that stand to make billions of dollars could give a fuck less about a few thousand American lives.
And that sounds horrible, but you're absolutely right, dude. That literally is cookie cutter definition of a sociopathic not even person, sociopathic group of people that say, you know what, fuck these Americans. This will get us where we need to be, right?
So I'm not going to outright say that George Bush and Cheney, designed 9/11 so that they can go to war. All I'm saying is that when you follow the money, it sure fucking seems that way.
Well, and I'll say this: George W. Bush is not smart enough to orchestrate this by himself.
No, definitely not.
But Cheney, on the other hand, Cheney's an evil motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. That's just my personal opinion. It's the vibe I get from him. And now we look at this kind of stuff. And
well, he did shoot that guy in the face.
Yeah, when he was hunting, right?
Sure. We'll call it that.
Because that's what you always do at the
come hunting with me.
You always get shot in the face when you're at the driving range. No, wait a minute. No. Now you're right. There's a lot of crazy stuff there. I think one of the biggest things beyond and you can continue on if you want. I want to maybe give you a little break.
I've got one more thing I want to mention.
Are you sure you don't want to have another drink?
No, I do want to have another drink, but go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, dude.
So here's the thing. So Bin Laden admitted responsibility for the attacks, right? Interesting thing. And reviewing that admission, quote, here's a quote from Gernot Rotter, right? He's a professor of Islamic and Arabic studies at the University of Hamburg in Germany. So Bin Laden admitted responsibility for the attacks. Quote, the American translators who listened to the tapes and transcribed them wrote a lot of things in there that they wanted to hear, but that cannot be heard on the tapes no matter how many times you listen to it, end quote. That is from a professor who actually teaches Arabic and Islamic studies, listening to the confession from Bin Laden. So just wanted to throw that out there. I don't speak Arabic, so I can't actually, or like Farsi or anything, I can't like pull that out myself. So I'm going to have to trust a professor of Germany who had little to gain from any side of this and what he had to say and his, academic authenticity.
That's really, yeah, no, I do remember that too. It's like they just kind of, they said what was being said. This is what they wanted to hear, or what people wanted to hear. Is interesting. No, the only thing I was going to mention too is outside of all the government incentives, right, to actually cover this up and have it done so we could get back into a never-ending war. That, again, here's the other thing about the war on terror I think is very unique in the sense that it can perpetuate forever, is it's not a war on a country or a group of people. You know what I mean? It's a war
on ideology.
Exactly. It's a war on ideology. It's a war on philosophy of this philosophy. So we can't pinpoint it and say, hey, the terrorists are all coming from this geographic area, because they're spread out all over the world. Now, people will say mainly are concentrated in the Middle East or what have you, but that's the other thing why this will perpetuate forever, especially if the fear keeps being perpetuated by the people in charge. And if that's the case, is that we have a never-ending war that will be extremely profitable for groups like the Carlyle Group, for politicians, for Halliburton, things like that.
And to point out and back up what you just said there, we have transitioned from tracking down Al-Qaeda. That ended basically once Obama went in 2009, 2010, and they finally got Osama bin Laden. Right?
Yeah.
That kind of cut off the head of the snake there, which he was a friend of the country, and we trained that guy anyway. So that's a little strange anyway. But beyond that, then it moved to the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
Then it moved to ISIS. Then it moved to whatever they're calling the new flavor of ISIS now. And I think they're calling it something else, right? But now we've got 4 distinct groups from geographically unique locations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they all are from Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq. They're all over the place. And we just kind of keep changing the name of who we're after and who's out to get America. And we just kind of keep this thing going. Again, I don't have the military intelligence to understand, why this is. I'm just pointing out the fact that it is. That's what's been happening. And it's not uncommon for America to be involved in a war that doesn't end. For the majority of the time since, I don't even know, since World War II, we've been in a war.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time in the 80s where we weren't in a war, but we were still fucking around with Bosnia and Kosovo.
But we were still, and I'll pause you right there, though. Even in our dormant times of no physical, pinpointed, specific war, we were in the Cold War. There was still there was still that level of fucking fear and anxiety, and that the Russians were the fucking problem, right?
Well,
So
and the Cold War also drew it kept it kept moving forward the defense contract monies, right? Because they're building at Sandia and Los Alamos and Raytheon and all those guys are making bombs and planes.
that perpetuated too even the race to space, and there's a lot of money in that in the 60s and 70s too, right? Because again, we had to get there before the Soviets, we had to get to the moon before the Soviets, we had to do this before the Soviets, we had to get this technology before the Soviets got it. So even in our times, which again, that was probably what, mid 70s to late 80s, just when that was focused on the Cold War. And then Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall happened, and then all of a sudden Desert Storm is there a year or two later.
Well, I hate to be the pessimist on this because you know how I'm always optimistic.
That's true. You are a sunshine, rainbow kind of guy in lots of different ways.
With America's war machine and some of the sketchy ass things that have gone on in the last 80 years, we look at the downside of something that we both really love, and that's capitalism and the free market economy. We look at the downside of corruption at the highest level in that system.
It makes you sick.
It does. It really does. Unnecessary, and there's other ways to turn a buck.
And here's the thing, and I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here. I won't stay on this for that long because we got more things to talk about. This is an action-packed episode, my friend. Bob wasn't bullshitting, by the way, when he said this is going to be the best. Okay, I just got to say that right now. But the free market, capitalism, again, to me, it makes the most sense. But when you have these kind of evil motherfucking pieces of shit at the top, this again proves my theory that, and I'm going to say this biting my tongue a little bit, but you do need some oversight and some regulation, because people at this level, unchecked and left to their own devices, look what happens, dude. I mean, you can really have the most horrific acts in the world carried out by legitimate, supposedly high standard, ethical, moral politicians and world leaders that literally do more terrible things than serial killers. If you really want to break it down, at least serial killers keep it to a group of 20, 30 people. You know what I mean?
Like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Oh, that was good stuff, man. But I'll say this lastly here too, and maybe we'll move on here, but maybe not. The other thing that, again, to me just doesn't make sense, and you can break it down mechanically, engineering, all this shit with how the towers went down. It's in your background, okay? When there is, point at it like a weatherman. There you go, right there. We had a high pressure system, and that's going to bring in some rain and snow, and some people in the Northeast might. But no, what Bob has in his background, for those that are on the podcast platforms, is literally to do a controlled demolition. And this was talked about by people that did it professionally for a living, right? They take down buildings. The way you do this, and the way you can get buildings to come down very cleanly and not to fall down to the side and ruin other stuff, just that straight free fall fucking collapse, is they go in and they cut the structural supports, these steel supports, at a diagonal angle. Very, very hard for that to happen organically through furniture being on fire and catching fire to these things in molten steel, right? So there is evidence, after they went through the rubble on both towers, that their structural steel beams are cut cleanly diagonally. That's all I got to say, dude, because honestly, that to me was the biggest proof that something ain't stirring the fucking Kool-Aid here.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I wanted to highlight these angle cuts in these beams. Not only they're angled, but they're actually symmetrical on both sides of the beam. Also want to point out that 6 weeks later, crews are finding pools of molten steel, just chilling still at thousands of degrees on the ground under the rubble 6 weeks later.
Now,
there's nothing that can cause that just from a fire or jet fuel. The jet fuel doesn't burn for 6 weeks.
You're absolutely right. But according to the study that was published by Popular Mechanics, not until this incident. Was it possible? Right?
Oh
They
yeah,
just-
yeah. This proved physics and science to us. We didn't even know that things burned until this happened. We didn't even know that steel melted until this happened. It's crazy.
So I will say
Anyway.
this. I will say this because I think we do have to kind of wrap this up with our thoughts here a little bit. 9/11, horrible, horrible, horrific tragedy. A lot of Americans, and I mean more than one American that dies from something that is not of their own device is horrible to me. So thousands of Americans died. A lot of first responders die. It's a shitty fucking situation, and we're not downplaying that at all. But after doing more research on this, again, something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid for me. Something's fishy. I think it goes all the way to the top, and I think it's something that had been planned out slowly for decades. So I do think, regardless if the planes took down the towers or not, it still doesn't explain the two other planes evaporating. It doesn't explain the Bush's family's relationship with the bin Ladens, and it just doesn't explain this being a legitimate, straight-up, whoops, tragedy kind of thing. Your thoughts?
Well, and I also just want to briefly mention we didn't get into Tower 7 at all. So if our Stiffies out there want to dig in more to Tower 7, Scott and I already did. We're just kind of out of time, and we're not going to talk about the nonsensical way that thing went down later and how it was explained. But go ahead and do your own digging on that. That's your homework assignment for the week. Look into Tower 7. Look into firefighters' accounts of Tower 7 and hear from their own mouth of what they thought happened to Tower 7, and you can draw your own conclusions. I'll leave you with that little tidbit, lead you with a little titillating tidbit of information.
Oh, and then also go ahead and check out the testimony, the joint testimony, like they were holding hands by Dick Cheney and George W. Bush when that's not supposed to happen.
Yes, because that's the only way that they would talk, and we didn't mention that, is the only way that they would go before a congressional hearing is if they went together so that they couldn't be split up and have their stories match. And the only way they would agree is if they were not under oath so that they could be charged for perjury.
You know, because that makes sense, because a fundamental thing about interrogation is if there's multiple parties, you separate them, you get their stories individually and see if they match up. But apparently that wasn't important to do to the president and the vice president during the, let's just say it, the biggest tragedy in recent American history. So there's that.
Yeah, and just so you know that
apparently we can't let this go.
The controlling party that George Bush was in, the Republicans, did have control of the government at that point. So it's not like this was some, as modern day term, Democratic witch hunt. This was a Republican-led inquiry into what was going on, and Bush and Cheney still wouldn't come under oath and without being next to each other. Just want to feed that out there for thought for all of the partisan bullshit that people like to say. I don't think this is partisan. I think this is all about money.
And I dare I say it overshadows and is a much bigger thing than partisan politics bullshit. So there's that. But you know what else, dude? I mean, moving right along here, the government is super fucked up, dude. The more that we research about the government, I was talking to Jamie last night. I was like, see, you never fucking trust the government, ever. Tell them why, Bobby.
Well, that's true. We find things all the time. First of all, me and Scott found out that the Freedom of Information Act was actually a Carter administration thing.
1977.
That's like the best thing Carter ever did. It's like the only thing Carter ever did. That's not true. He campaigned unsuccessfully. He debated poorly.
Well, it's a smear on Carter hour. I like it. Keep it going.
Well, he'll barely know. It's
you know what? He's probably more with it than Biden, so maybe he will.
You know, I don't know. I might vote for Trump over Biden, or vote for Carter over Biden or Trump. Just saying. I mean, he's 95, but he does things. So, we wanted to bring to the attention something interesting that we'd been, we'd always heard about it. A lot of us have always heard about it off and on, about, the government and, chemtrails and mind control and, all the crazy shit. And everyone's like, there's a rampant thing back when I was in school, back in the 90s, kids, since this last, millennium, but about, the government used to do tests on people with LSD for mind control. And we all talked about it. It was a known thing, but everyone's like, the government always denied it, right? Well, in 2018, Freedom of Information and some declassified files came out about MKUltra, which indeed verified the government did all kinds of fucked up shit to Americans in the name of science, looking at LSD and mind control called MKUltra. This is a widespread thing. This isn't exactly, a conspiracy theory, but
No, it's not.
Not anymore.
No, this is the real
fact.
deal.
So we wanted to dig into this. We wanted to look into it. We wanted to spread the word so that people knew really what was happening. And what was happening is as late as like 30, 40 years ago. This isn't like this is Joseph Mengele times. I mean, that's kind of where it started. But this wasn't modern times. So...
Call it what you will, too. Project Bluebird, Project Artichoke, whatever. They were all the same fucking thing.
They did have some dainty little names for it, right?
They did. I like Project Artichoke. It makes me want to get some melted butter and start digging into that shit.
A little bit of garlic. Delish. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of like people losing their mind and their dignity. That's awesome.
And if you don't mind, I'll kind of give a little background here because I thought this
Get
was
in there.
Yeah, I thought it was very insightful. And I actually didn't know this. With all my fucking research on LSD, I did know that Albert Hofmann stumbled upon the invention of LSD accidentally.
The Swiss scientist?
Yes, the Swiss scientist back in the late 30s, early 40s was experimenting around with a fungus called ergot. Ergot grows on the rye plant. Okay, so rye.
Wait, stop right there. Sorry to interrupt. If I remember right, in the early 2000s, didn't we try to grow some? I swear we did.
Yeah, but we're being recorded, Bob. So
quite unsuccessfully, I might add.
Yeah, you're right though. We did try to do that with wheat bread, like fucking morons.
I
but
thought so.
Anyways, yes, you do recall this now. The recall is great. But yeah, so he was fucking around with compounds from ergot to try to come up with a cure for migraine headaches. He did not find any cure for migraine headaches. What he did accidentally is invent lysergic acid dithalamide. So he accidentally spilled some on himself while he was in the lab. And there's this, I think it's like some kind of bicycle rider. Anyways, he journaled what happened. He's tripping balls and boom, here we go. LSD is born in the early 40s. Now, he's a Swiss scientist, right? So at this point, pretty harmless that he just stumbled upon this amazing psychedelic drug that has the potential to unlock the consciousness and all this kind of shit. However, this very soon was noticed by the American government, notably the CIA, and I believe, what was it? Eli Lilly, right? Eli Lilly, the company that came out with Prozac. They started mass producing doses of lysergic acid in the late 40s in Europe. I don't recall exactly what that purpose was. I think they thought it maybe had some attributes again for mind control and stuff like that, but they were very fearful, meaning the American government. There were stockpiles of these doses that they had manufactured. And again, here comes the Russians, right? They're like, oh shit, this has the potential to be a mind control drug. I honestly don't know where the fuck they got that from, Bob. There's no proof in the pudding that this is going to help control minds at all.
Mind control was just a big thing on the agenda of both Germans and Russians and Americans at the time.
Okay. So they were just I guess they were kind of fishing, right? They were fishing and saying, hey, this is fucked up. It kind of makes people act weird. Their behaviors change, things like that. So long short there is all of the manufactured doses of acid was purchased by the Americans to try to ensure that the Russians would not get this intelligence, would not have this potentially mind-blowing mind-controlled drug. And Eli Lilly was the company that made the purchase and brought it all stateside, which I think is very interesting. Eli Lilly is a very big, somewhat reputable company. Yeah. So
even still.
Yeah, still. Again, like I think I had just mentioned, they're also the manufacturers and the people that patented Prozac, which is the most widely known and they said successful antidepressant, but I don't think there's a lot of value to Prozac. That's another whole story. But
my dog's on Prozac. It's pretty valuable to him.
That's fucking weird. But anyways,
I'm so American. My dog needs antidepressants.
but here we go. So this is the start of it. And then in 1950 on the dot, that's when the CIA Project Bluebird was the very first.
Hey, stop. I'm just gonna. Could you just like come a little bit closer to the mic?
You can't hear me?
No, I can. You just it seemed a little far.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, that's so much better.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I gotta adjust this bad boy or something here. Maybe I just need to stick it inside my mouth. That's
Usually.
what she said. That's what she said. Sorry, that was very, very immature. But no, but again, this is how it's born, right? And then CIA starts Project Bluebird, 1950, and they start testing LSD on knowing subjects and also unknowing subjects. And that's where I feel I've talked too much, Bob. I'm gonna let you pick it up from there.
Yeah. So, a couple of interesting experiments that were going on was first they were trying to create Manchurian candidates, right? So if anyone's ever seen Jason Bourne, the Bourne Identity, Supremacy, all that stuff, so you know what a Manchurian candidate is.
I don't think all the Stiffies may know that.
Okay, so basically it's kind of a sleeper agent, right? So a sleeper agent is someone that's been conditioned to do a task or assignment or whatever, and then they get activated. So we've all seen hypnosis, and we've all seen the hypnotist go into a crowded room of people, and he gets someone to like pretend they're a duck or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh, it would never happen to me," but it happens to pretty much damn near everyone, right?
Right.
So, basically, there's this deep-seated subconscious hypnosis that can occur in a candidate now has actually been perfected a lot more than it was back in the day, to where you can go mention a phrase to one of these Manchurian candidates, and then boom, their hidden personality would come up, because let's call it what it is. This is basically creating split personalities and a psychosis in somebody.
Oh, you know what this is like? Sorry. This is just like Zoolander.
I don't know. I'm not connecting the dots.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly. When he plays Relax on the turntable, that's when Ben Stiller's character fucking snaps into his personality and he wants to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's the same fucking thing, dude. Come on, stay with me here a little bit.
So what they're trying to do early on is trying to create these Manchurian candidates, and they don't have any really idea about conditioning the mind or dealing with psychosis or anything at this point, because it's still kind of early in the development of personality and psychology in general. So they're trying to really achieve that, and they're looking at this, and they're also trying to achieve a way to cover up. So if they capture a spy, that they can cut their balls off, interrogate the shit out of them, pull their fingernails out, bamboo shoots up the fingernails, all that, but then like brainwash them like they were just like off in Canada on some mountain trip. So when they go back home, that's the story that they're telling. That's the other side of it, right? They needed the cover up of how to get rid of all these spies when they catch them, to release them, because they can't just kill them all. There's a problem of releasing the detained after they're done with their questioning, and how do they do that? So they're looking for answers to all of these questions with LSD. They thought that would be the cure for it. And so one of these experiments, kind of circling all the way back after all that explaining, is so they'd have these hookers, or professional girls,
women of the evening.
Yes, the women of the corner. They would bring in these bows or these johns, right? And they would slip them acid before they fuck them, and then they'd start tripping balls. And so you'd think that, wow, they're like observing these guys from a one-way mirror, because they don't know that they're taking acid. And on the surface, that's what it would seem to be. No, it was not. So on the report, they were talking about, the other personality, the Manchurian candidate. Actually, what they were working on was observing the hookers. They were trying to get these hookers to switch into a mode to then extract information or do things to these guys. And they were the test subjects. These guys were just tripped out on acid and were just like caught up in this bullshit.
That's what I got to interject right here. These poor fucking guys, first of all. Jesus Christ. I mean, look, they're and I believe it was in San Francisco where they did a lot of this too, if I remember correctly. But I think about how shitty that would be, though, man. I mean, you're like a businessman or whatever. Or maybe you're not married, maybe you are. but you're about to get laid. You're loving this. You do get laid. Then you get kind of left to your own devices, and you have no fucking clue that you're tripping on acid. No fucking clue at all. That's one of the problems. And I was the unknowing, like tripping on acid thing throughout this entire MK Ultra shit. That's fucking horrible, dude. Because one thing is this: if you know you're dosing acid on yourself, you know it's coming. You can
prepare for your journey.
You can prepare for it. But if you're unknowingly starting to trip balls on, let's face it, too, not some dirties 1990 or fucking modern acid, the real fucking deal, like the straight up legit high dosage, very
government
shit.
made in a lab.
Yeah. Dude, these guys had to be fucking jumping out of their skin with fear and anxiety, have no clue what's going on.
Why did your tits just turn into fucking dragons and bite me?
And here's the other thing, too. There was no follow-up on these guys. I'm sure you saw that, too, right?
They just let them go.
They just let them go. Who knows what fucking happened to these guys? They could have.
How many of those guys ended up dead or never the same?
Oh, dude, I bet you a lot of them, because, again, if you don't know you're doing LSD and all of a sudden you just feel the effects of some very strong, pure LSD, I can see why people have the stereotype of losing your mind and jumping out of a window and shit like that. I just had to interject that because these poor fucking guys, man. Jesus Christ.
How about the whistleblower guy that they slipped LSD at a corporate government party, a function, and then threw his ass out the window?
Oh yeah, he supposedly jumped out of the 10-story window.
They suicided him. I mean, he suicided himself.
I believe Hillary Clinton was there.
Probably. Yeah. Joe Biden invented the method.
This is true. I hate to, guys, I didn't mean to mislead you or give you false information, but it was actually Joe Biden that invented LSD purposely, not Albert Hoffman. That was a cover-up.
He was with Albert Hoffman. He said, "You take this one." He said, "I took the cure for smallpox. You take this one."
I don't mind sharing, Albert. You're a good guy. Isn't that right, Bertie?
He was there too.
That's too much, man. But yeah, there's really a lot to this. I mean, I honestly don't know. I mean, we're still doing pretty good on time here. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how much we can dive into the shit show, just horrible, how horrible the government is with MK Ultra. I mean, there's a couple of things that I guess I do want to highlight, because none of these things this is not a conspiracy. This is not part of our conspiracy at all. These are declassified. These are proven fucking facts, man. But the other thing I thought was very, very crazy, and you have to forgive me. Maybe you can check it out. I don't know if you wrote it down, but who was the gentleman in Montreal that knew Joseph Mengele, that was doing all the wicked experiments in that hospital up there? Because that was the really fucked up shit. This guy was literally, and I can't remember his name, but beyond LSD, this was just the tip of the fucking iceberg. This guy was literally working on, what did we figure out it was called before?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fact check that. I'll find it.
Okay. Sorry, I just had to look it up. But again, it was basically deprogramming, right? Or something like that, deprogramming people. And this guy, he was the head of the global psychiatry committee or conference or something like that. He was the head of the Canadian psychiatry, all this shit. But he was up there basically depriving people of sleep for, if not days, weeks on end. I think the longest run was 64 days with no sleep. He was pumping these people full of hallucinogens, cannabis, and other things. And basically the whole point of this is he was literally wiping away people's memory. Talk about the epitome of brainwashing, right? There was a lot of instances where he was said that he could erase basically the first 25 years of somebody's life. And it was like a trifecta. I can't remember the name of it, but basically this was the win for him. This was actually a good thing. Hey, mission accomplished. They would forget who they were, where they were, what year it was. I mean, literally had no recollection of their entire being. And then he would reprogram them. And what they would do is they would literally put on tapes of just recordings either of that individual, the patient, or the doctor, just repeating these fucking brainwashing scenarios of who they were, what they believed in, what was important to them, what their job was, what their purpose was in life, until they believe that. It's really fucking intense, dude.
So I'm finding his name is Cameron.
Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains?
Growing Pains? I thought he did that religious Christmas show that was the worst,
he did.
Rotten Tomatoes ever.
That was after Growing Pains. I think he
So
kind of.
I'm not seeing his first name. Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron.
There you go. There you
And
go.
Cameron was a leading figure in psychiatric research and was working as a professor in Albany when he was invited to Montreal to become the
Mhm.
first director of the recently founded the Allen Memorial Institute, which housed the psychiatric department in the Royal Victoria Hospital and was affiliated with McGill University.
Mm.
So Cameron was the one that actually was doing like the experiments with Mangala. I'm pretty sure. So let me get into that. I'll pass it back to you for a second, try to find that so that I don't talk out of my ass here. Look, Cameron attended the Nuremberg trials following World War II, which tried German doctors for war crimes committed in concentration camps. Many of the accusations put forward, the trials involved allegations, yada yada. Cameron was well acquainted with the necessity of informed consent. Okay, so he wasn't working with them. He was working on, he was part of the prosecution and part of the event that happened. So he knew very well all of the ethics in mind that were associated with the experiments that he was doing in Montreal, and did them anyway.
No, and I think that's the biggest thing about MK Ultra and all the experiments and all the testing that went on with people is it violated the Hippocratic Oath. You know what I mean? It's like to the 10th degree, and everything about ethics and morals and how you treat people and how you do testing was thrown out the window. And I think that was one of the things that the gentleman said in that documentary. I can't remember his name. The guy that was the professor that was teaching this class.
That guy was awesome, though.
Yeah, he was really, really good. But that's why this was so interesting to him is this is highly unethical way of doing things. So unethical.
Yeah,
man.
he kept repeating the ethics of it.
Yeah, because it blows people away. Again, unwittingly giving people there you go, cracking another Stella, huh? Good for you, Bobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, little movie magic. You don't know what I'm doing over here.
You're throwing me a fucking loop right there, son.
So
But,
I do want to kind of mention here, just so that everyone's like well aware, MK Ultra was just not some weird black ops government conspiracy. I mean, yeah, it was, but it involved everyone. It involved so many facilities, people that you would never assume. I'm just going to briefly read off this list so that everyone knows.
Please go ahead. This
The
is very
Hospital
enlightening.
Health Center, part of Harvard. Butler. Children's International Summer Village, Columbia University, Cornell, Denver University, Emory College, Florida University, George Washington University, Harvard, Houston, Illinois University, Indiana, Johns Hopkins, Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals, which we hit on earlier, University of Minnesota, New Jersey Reformatory, Bordentown in Tennessee, Ohio University, Penn State, Princeton, Stanford, Wisconsin, University of Texas.
You getting tired? You want me to pick up?
University of Oklahoma, the NIH, National Institute of Health, the NIMH, National Institute of Mental Health, New Jersey Psychiatric Research Institute, National Philosophical Society, Office of Naval Research, Worcester Foundation for Experimental Biology, Vacaville State Prison, Vacaville, Public Health Service, Cornell, Bureau of Narcotics, Bureau of Prisons, and many others. This was widespread, implemented across the country with consent of the government.
And these
everybody knew, and it was pretty fucked up.
And these are legitimately sanctioned MK Ultra institutions. And on top of that, some of these are the most notable fucking universities and establishments in the fucking country. And they have been for a very long time. So yeah, everybody had their dirty little fingers.
Harvard did require that their acid patients have a 4.3 GPA. So.
Oh, well, there's that.
So they got that going for them.
And $50,000 of tuition. But yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah,
unless your wife was on Full House, then we could work something out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. God, boy, she ruined her career. But no, and that's the other thing that's extremely disgusting about this is this, again, the ethics of this and the lack of ethics of what happened here is mind-blowing. And yet everybody was involved in this, and it seemed like it was legitimized. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about the gentleman that was doing all the testing, the head of the psychiatric stuff, like this mind control stuff, the deprogramming of people, the brainwashing, they're erasing their fucking memories and implanting new ones. He wrote about this in scholarly psychological journals that were published and sent around the country. It was like no big fucking deal. The way they spin it was a positive thing. This is a good thing. We're helping people. It's fucking sick, dude. Again, never trust the government.
Well, they were helping people until Cameron's patients began to come forward in the late 1980s.
Well,
Stating
yeah.
that they had been subjected to extreme and unusual forms of psychotherapy, including the processes that Cameron described as depatterning,
The
and
patterning.
psychic driving.
Yes.
All of the patients who were alleged victims of Cameron's practices reported devastating mental and physical results for years to come. Many recounted extreme memory loss, feelings of isolation, anxiety, and no improvement of their initial conditions.
Oh, well, do you actually, that was correct. We're trying to come up with, I thought it was deprogramming when I looked it up. It's depattering is that it was in the what was it? The psychic driving? That was
psychic driving.
That was the doctors implanting and basically giving them the new identity. Right?
Yeah, and that was like the headphones for like, 6 days straight of either the doctor or yourself saying things to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, how annoying would it be to have yourself repeating something over and over to yourself on headphones?
Yeah.
Confusing yourself if you're thinking it or if you're hearing it anymore. That'd be terrible.
I don't really like that idea.
I don't
think
either.
I want to be,
especially if they're pumping acid in you.
That's tough. This is tough times, Bobby. This is tough times, man. But Jesus Christ, yeah. This was so crazy because initially, and this was the interesting thing for me and Bobby here is we were looking at MKUltra as a potential topic for one of our conspiracy segments, right? That's what we were originally doing. We're like, oh yeah,
because it had always been, a topic for us anyway, as a conspiracy.
Yeah, and then when we did a little digging, and we realized, oh shit, this is not a conspiracy theory at all. In fact, there's nobody that's trying to debunk this right now because there's nothing to debunk.
Yeah,
it's straight up fact.
They released it just like the alien intercepted spaceships that the Navy had a few months ago.
Which is crazy, man. I mean, say what you will, dude, but again, for people that blindly follow the government and listen to everything the government says without question, wow, that's all I can say. I feel sorry for them.
It's okay, nay, patriotic to ask why.
I think it's required. I think it's your duty.
Just like when I'm asked to put my hands through the bed bars and then they get handcuffed, I get to ask why.
Yeah, but if that's not the safe word, nothing's going to change, my friend. You got to keep pushing forward.
Porcupine!
Now I know the gold, Bobby. Now I know the gold.
So, again, this is kind of, it's not a conspiracy theory, and it's not even a stiff truth. Yeah, buckle up, Stiffies. There's still more shit to this episode. We just thought that it was super important that we wanted to talk about MKUltra, and we wanted to talk about what really happened, and we thought that it'd be kind of our PSA to let everyone know what our government's been up to the last 80 years with experimenting on human subjects, Americans nonetheless. So,
I'll tell you what, I kind of feel like I should have made 3 drinks.
I think maybe we just break precedent here and have another stiff drink break.
I was actually just gonna think about grabbing a beer. So I
already got a beer. But
yeah, because I'm out of. Hold on a second here.
I had my wife sneak me one in.
Well, look, I'm actually gonna. Hold on. I'm actually texting Jamie right now. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is this dude doing?"
So do that. In fact, we're gonna take a break anyway because I'm gonna go use the bathroom because I've had a lot of drinks. So,
hey, this is like a Rogan show where the guests like have to pee twice because it's like a 4-hour show. But it's,
I know, and it might be, but we got to get this out there, and we still got to talk about our stiff truth. So,
all right,
if you want to start on the stiff truth, Phil, you can go ahead and introduce it, or if you want to cut here and we'll come back, you can. Well, it's up to you. You make the call.
I will not proceed to the stiff truth without my compadre. We'll take another quick break.
All right.
The fuck are you doing?
Don't you worry about that.
Did I catch you looking at gay porn?
No.
No.
Come in looking at regular porn with men.
No. Oh, right. Sure. Forgot about that. All right. So
Just delete it like it never happened, huh? Okay, it's cool.
I like clean notes. What can I say? So here's what I did, Bob. It was funny. I went upstairs and I was like, "Hey, we're taking a second break. We're doing something unprecedented for the show." And Jamie was like, "I was about to bring you a Stella," and I was like, "It's okay. I'll get my own Stella. I appreciate that though." So I got a Stella, steamed, and and because got myself a shot of scotch.
Oh, good for you. I have a beer, and then I
Mhm.
have a backup beer over here
Hmm.
because 2 cocktails and like 4 beers means best show ever.
Hey, no, you know what that means for us? Just because, let's just face it, COVID has bumped our tolerance level probably up a few notches. We're in the picking up chick zone right now. That's where we're at.
It's true. No, it's very true. Very true. I'm about to spiral out of that zone, but right now I'm in that zone.
Hey, stay with it. Stay with it, my friend, because I'll tell you what, I'm only 1 beer, 2 cocktails. This will be my second beer and then a shot. I think I'm good.
I'm just gonna say this, Scott.
Okay.
This is gonna be our longest episode ever because we are not cutting the show short without continuing on our stiff truth from last week. And time be damned. If it's our longest show, that's fine. If it's our longest show and our best show, that's fine. But for one thing's for sure, it will be the best show.
Well, here's the thing. We didn't start until 12:36, and then I took a kind of a long break because I had to make Jamie a drink. So actually, with the second break, we're probably still under 2 hours right now, but we still have the stiff truth.
Yeah, we're gonna cruise over, but that's okay. I'm not afraid. So
No, well, don't say that. I mean, I know you're a little bit afraid. You've tried. Like I said, I know you've been trying a lot to pray. You tried something I tried before to pray the gay away, and
Scott, at some point you just got to say what the fuck and lean in.
again, always about prison sex with you. That's what I love about you, sir. So we're back, and I'll tell you what, we're re-stiffed, we're rejuvenated here, we're refueled, so to speak. And Stiffies, we're not going to apologize for this. I think this is great content here. I think we got a lot of good shit we're sharing today. And you know, the reason why we wanted to fucking talk about MK Ultra in this show is because, and I'm just going to say this, I think this is exactly why. What they did with psychedelic drugs is how to use them completely incorrectly, right? And why they can be horrible, horrible things. The drugs themselves, and I love this quote from Dennis McKenna. I was telling you yesterday, I was watching an interview with him and Rogan. That's Terrence McKenna's brother.
Yeah, I saw the thing with Terrence McKenna.
Yeah. So the thing is he was talking about drugs in general. They weren't even talking about DMT or many psychedelics, but he said, here's what I really just don't understand. There's no such thing as a bad drug. And I paused for a minute. I was like, where's he going with this? Right. And he's like, drugs don't have morals and ethics. They're just drugs. They're independent. They're objective. The people that use them are the ones that have the ethics and morals. Now, granted, there's very bad ways to use drugs, but that's up to the individual, right? And I love that because this is what MK Ultra and what the government did is they took a malicious, nasty, dangerous way to use drugs and they perpetuated some real crazy, horrible shit. Correct?
They really did. They took hallucinogens in the worst possible way that you'd want to give them to someone, and they gave them to someone.
It's like this, dude. I mean, literally, and yeah, but that to me was one of the coolest quotes I've ever heard. Is there's no such thing as a bad drug. There's bad people, and you can definitely use drugs for the wrong reasons.
It reminds me of Happy Gilmore, right? That big, tall monster of a man that says guns don't kill people. I kill people.
I love that when the golf ball lands on his foot too, and Shooter McGavin's got to go knock it off.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Love that guy. But my point is we're going to dive back into the stiff truth, and the stiff truth was we are continuing on. If you can't tell by my background, some trippy shit. Okay, that's some DMT shit over here, and we're breaking away a little bit, but we're actually talking about again what happens when these objective compounds that have no morals or ethics are used for the right reasons, right? We talked about this in our last show, the benefits of psychedelics. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of delete the conversation about mushrooms, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really didn't spend a lot of time studying anything on that.
Honestly,
I want to spend most of the time talking about DMT and other things.
yeah, and honestly, they're not the same, right? And they were quoted in the Spirit Molecule too. Is just so we know, Stiffies, if you can already tell, I mean, you can read between the lines a little bit here, but we're going to continue the conversation and talk about the just amazing potential and the mystic origins and the crazy unique compound that is dimethyltryptamine, DMT. Other people will know it as the active ingredient in ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, again, is basically a drink like a tea that has been used for centuries, mainly by South American tribes and Central American tribes, and a lot of ceremonious, spiritual, and religious kind of things, right? So
Yeah, it's kind of like how our southwestern Indians use peyote.
exactly. But again, I've done mescaline, I've done peyote, I've done psilocybin mushrooms, right? This one is on another level. I mean, it really is. And I'm glad that we had a chance to really dive into this a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and say probably a lot of the Stiffies maybe aren't too ignorant of this, because let's just face it again. Joe Rogan is probably one of the biggest proponents of DMT in the modern world right now, in the modern popular culture world. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. I think Bob, and correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't have a lot of experience or understanding about the difference of DMT prior to doing some research here. So
no, so I've never personally done DMT,
okay.
which, as I've told investigative officers before, I've done plenty of things, but DMT is not one of them. So I don't have any personal experience with DMT. So all of the knowledge that I've gotten has been off of firsthand accounts and interviews and the research that I've done over the last several days about DMT. And it's a very interesting chemical compound that probably needs a little bit more research done.
Is that a dare? Is that a challenge?
Oh, I was talking like in a medical meaning, but yeah, if you want to.
I thought you wanted to go grab a pipe and burn a bowl.
No, I mean, honestly, from what I've researched, if I was to ever run across DMT and do it, I'd like to do it the old school, like Mayan way, and mix it up with their tea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys are geniuses.
Well, I'll tell you this too, but because here's what I want to do. I do have, and I'll tell the Stiffies this. I got personal experience with DMT. I did a lot of research on this in recent history. I'll take this back to about 2016, 2017 is probably when I was most involved and kind of engulfed in this, dude. I will say this, I kind of did get obsessed with this. And I think you can understand why, after kind of learning a little bit more about other people's personal experiences, this compound, one is it's universally within almost every living being on Earth and maybe other worlds. That's one thing that's just very apparent. Like DMT is a very simple compound too, and it's inside of humans, almost every plant, and almost every mammal in the world.
I found that fascinating, that it's an inherent molecule that is everywhere, prevalent everywhere.
And this is the other thing that separates, and this is why I think we wanted to really talk about it separately, is besides psilocybin, and I think that's why originally we were spitballing including psilocybin in the program, is, well, let's face it, psilocybin, DMT, NN, dimethyltryptamine, the psilocybin is like just another version of it. I think there's like one little extra molecule on it because it's NPO DMT is psilocybin, right? So they are similar in the sense of their chemical compounds, but also you switch it around a little bit, it's tryptophan. What's in fucking turkey and warm milk that makes people sleepy, which again is another universally fucking basic molecule. But I wanted to just kind of take a pause here because, again, I got some experience with it, but I wanted to get your perspective initially on just what you had learned, what you thought was kind of just the most separating it from other psychedelics, because the biggest thing to me is it's natural, whereas MDMA, LSD had to be synthesized to find.
So interesting thing. First off, South American Indians for thousands of years, including the Mayans and Aztecs, if I'm right, have been using DMT with their holy people, right? So when they run across a problem or they run across a fork in the road, they go to DMT and they reach out to the beyond to try to find these answers. That's traditionally kind of how it's used, right?
Mhm.
It's used in like that sort of metaphysical sense of, getting that answer and reaching out to the spirit world. So one thing I don't want to discredit, because one thing I found really interesting, in at least the Spirit Molecule documentary that we watched with Joe Rogan hosting, was that people took took the DMT and they had these like experiences where they left, right? They weren't there anymore. And even the observing nurse in the room said that this guy, we gave him some DMT and we could tell like he was kind of used to.
Oh, the experienced user.
Yeah, so
They
we
had-
upped his
yeah.
dose, and then his eyes dilated, and he was fucking gone. He was just gone, right? And literally, like he left. Like you could say that he left his body. So one thing that was interesting about the doc was that our culture, really in Western culture specifically, is we've detached from the spiritual, and it's all been in the physical. Everything is physical. Everything that can be touched. Everything that can be seen.
I'll take it this far too. Material, right? That's the other
Material,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
So maybe there's still more to life than that. I mean, so we all know that the Mayans were like a sick culture, like sick as in badass. Like they had
fucking
scientists.
sick. They're fucking sick.
Yeah, they had astronomers. They were badass. They were super smart, super intelligent, a super tenured culture that had been around for thousands of years.
Mhm.
And they had used this DMT and then refined how to use it the right way, so that they could use it in a way that really people don't even use it to this day.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, people smoke it. I guess it can be injected. I didn't know that, but I'd heard that on the documentary. But they drink it in a tea, and that doesn't work unless you mix it with this other plant that you also boil down, and then you mix it up, and then it actually works that way. So the interesting thing that I want to say is that I think that in the Western culture specifically, it's preposterous if you can think that someone can have an astral projection out of their body and metaphysically go somewhere else and then come back. That's dumb. That is just a drug. You're nonsense. That is a dream. But explain dreams, right? Explain intuition, explain things, explain vision, explain Old Testament religious experience that people had talking to fucking metaphysical spirits.
Explain
all of that.
imagination and creativity,
Right.
right?
So I think there's a lot to be explored on that side of it. And I think that our culture has gotten very, very one-sided as far as the science goes, that if I can't get a mathematical equation on it to explain it, then it's not real science. And I think that that's naive and that's immature. And I think that we still have a lot of learning to do. So these experiences that these people had where they left and they really encountered what they, for the most part, all said were entities, spirits, beings outside of their existence, their plane of existence, or their dimension, right? Let's not be quick to discredit that as these guys are just on a hallucinogen, because first off, I don't think DMT really works that way. I don't think it's like LSD. I don't think you look at something and it just starts melting. I don't think DMT works that way. So I think there's something more to be explored there. Again, having never done it, just researching and looking at what people have been through and done other things. That's what kind of piqued my interest, is in the spiritual realm, in the dimensional realm. Let's not just discredit all of these experiences that these people had as the drug and as nonsense, because I think there very well may be something to learn there.
No, and you're absolutely right in the sense that I mean, from personal experience, it's nothing like other psychedelic drugs. Psychedelic drugs are just the onset, for instance, is extremely unique. You know, the onset of mushrooms, MDMA and acid, it's very subtle. It's very gradual. You kind of have this understanding of what is happening. You're still all there. You know what I mean? And then you slowly slip into something that's quasi there, but you're still bound to reality, right? No matter how
Right.
much acid you take, you still know that you're sitting in your living room, whatever. You're looking at the clock on the wall that's melting or flexing or looking kaleidoscope kind of vision type deal.
Sure.
I love the idea too, and something that I thought was very interesting about what was in the doc, and then also personal experiences. Somebody mentioned that DMT is like the drive-by shooting of psychedelics, right? Or like the bungee jump experience of psychedelics.
Yeah, that roller coaster drop.
Yeah, it literally takes you, it's got such a quick onset that within, which I've only smoked it, right? But within a few hits of smoking it, they have what you call a breakthrough. And that's literally where you, again, this is just speaking from experience, you leave your body and your plane of reality of existence and get jetapulted into a place, an alternate realm that you don't know where the fuck you are. Nothing is material. Nothing is worldly like we know. And that's something that's extremely unique about DMT, is it does take you to a place that you have no idea where you are. It's just a place, right? And there's this strange connection and this weird feeling that you are now kind of understanding and seeing an alternate dimension or reality that maybe is always there. Apparently it is. A lot of people think so. But you now have the capacity, and the neurons in your brain are firing, that you can actually visualize and feel this realm. Right. So it's very unique in the sense that it is nothing like other psychedelics. It literally is like being taken to another world and being opened up to the very fundamental understanding of your conscience and who you are. Right. So that was a couple of things that, again, just kind of relearning and doing some research and seeing some other people's experience, it seems pretty universal that even people that aren't spiritual, aren't religious, will have a ayahuasca or DMT experience and then be scratching their fucking head and being like, there is something more to this. There is something beyond this material world. And the coolest part about what just happened to me is I now understand that I have no idea what's going on and I don't understand. And that's kind of the first step of this whole experience is, goddamn, dude, like everything that we think that we understand and know about the world kind of just falls away. And then you have this, I'll just say, kind of more primitive, more just rudimentary, more basic understanding of existence, love, compassion, empathy, all this stuff that really people kind of brush to the side in the day-to-day rat race of the world. You know what I mean? We get caught up in all the money that we're making and the possessions that we have and all that stuff. Hatred towards people, political parties, who's the president, all this shit that's going on that really fucking stresses us out and creates all this fucking hardcore just again, anxiety and all these other things. They mean nothing in this realm. And it kind of shows you that they don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. And that's the other really cool thing about just the compound in general is it is universally, within everything. I think, and I had to take a couple of jots down here, man, but some of the things that I really love that kind of just piggyback on what I'm saying here. The language of plants, messenger molecules, universally present in all nature, common molecular language amongst all living things, also noted as facilitating the entering and exiting of the soul. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it literally can take the soul out of your worldly body to a place where just the souls exist. The spirit exists. And I thought that was really amazing too. We talked about already kind of the dream state, right? Creativity, imagination, stuff like that. Somebody else said this is more of, we call it the spirit molecule. Let's just call it the reality molecule. I don't know if you remember that too, right? Like let's pull back the fucking veil. Let's see what's really going on here. And there's so much more to it, but it's very hard to explain to people if they don't have any knowledge of it. Like, again, it'd be hard to even talk to people about it if they haven't researched it at all. You seem like a fucking crazy person. But
so you've seen the movie Avatar, right?
See.
Yeah, we've all seen that. And they have that weird little hair thing that plugs into everything, right?
That's very similar to what we're talking about here.
That hair thing is DMT.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how we are connected to everything. And not just like in the drug, but if you actually like look at the molecule and where it's at, in the world and living things, and it's only in living things, that's where you find it. It's in plants, it's in animals, it's in humans, right? So that's kind of what I pictured as I was hearing these interviews and these people, and then I was hearing the science behind it and how it is that a little bit of DMT is kind of in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was like, well, maybe that's the capacity of why humans are spiritual
Mm-hmm.
versus, bugs or whatever. We have the capacity to see beyond our plane of existence. So humans are unique into where we have this ability to think critically and have introspection and know that we are. I think, therefore I am. But then we can even take it farther than that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the ability to then see past that and have these metaphysical and spiritual experiences. And I think that's really something that needs to not be discredited.
And it is. And what's crazy too is this is not a new concept. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about, like people have been using this substance or something that produces or extracts this substance for fucking millennia, going all the way back to ancient Egypt, ancient China. I mean, ancient Jewish priests and shit like this also were involved in this. And here's the other thing too. The pineal gland, right in the center of the brain. This is really what is supposed to release DMT into the body naturally when something traumatic happens, like a near-death experience, right? There's a lot of people that say they see the light, they touch the hand of God, or they're talking to entities or beings that are almost like guides or carriers through this realm. These are not new ideas, right? But here's the other thing that sucks, man, is they're always discredited, especially in this rat race of everything needs to be proven by mathematics, our structural linear view of science and everything like that. But one thing that really struck me, I had to write down too, is any kind of consciousness that doesn't promote the production of material goods is stigmatized, hence discredited. Right?
I caught that part too. I thought that was a fascinating way to phrase that.
It was amazing way to say it, dude. And I think it was the Indian priest too that was one of the volunteers for the DMT experience
at UNM,
at the University of Mexico by Dr. Rick Stratman. But yeah,
in the 90s, we could have been in that.
we would have been his youngest subjects. But yeah, no. But what I loved about what he said too goes back to that. Was it the picture puzzled pattern door? I don't know if you remember that.
Yep, I do.
Basically, like that was the
door of humanity.
Yeah, the farthest reaches of humanity, what defines you as a human being. And once you go past it, it stops you from being human anymore. It's you, basically, right? So I love that because basically he's traveling through this interstellar fucking realm or what have you. And he's searching and finally gets to the end of him. It's him, right? And if you move past that, you are no longer human as you know it. Very fucking fascinating thing to happen from a very basic, universal, simple, but extremely mystical compound, right? So I don't know, man. It blows me away how much different and unique the ayahuasca DMT experience is and what it actually does to the mind. And we can say that it lights up the mind completely, or it takes you out of your body and your soul kind of controls the rest. I'm not sure. But again, this is a huge step away. But I see, again, a lot of value in doing more research on these bad boys because let's, for instance, here, if you're having trouble with depression about worldly things, right? Or anxiety about worldly things.
Which is going around right now.
What's the best way to get out of that? Jump outside of yourself and understand that there's so much more to be grateful for, to experience, to realize, to understand than these worldly things. That to me is a milestone that I think a lot of people would be very attracted to if they only remove the stigma right away from this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting about just DMT. And what if it's not something that, enhances the mind? What if it's just simply something that removes constraints?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if it's not, like a crazy inhibitor, but more of a prohibitor, and it just prohibits those restraints and just lets your brain and your spirit, your soul, how whatever you think that is, just kind of be activated. And so maybe it's like LSD. It obviously has a great effect. Maybe DMT has a.
Couple of drinks in you.
I know. Maybe DMT has a counter effect to where it's not being so effectful on the brain, but maybe it's just simply just unlocking it and letting you have your brain.
That's honestly what I think, because there's so much mystery. Again, just being straight up. We think there's a lot of neuroscience going on right now. I think it's probably finally getting the attention it deserves for how important like what's going on in your head, right, can actually affect your personality, your behavior, and all this. Whereas before 60s, 50s, it was discredited as you being a crazy person or none of that. But there's a lot of value to that in the sense that we really don't know what a lot of the parts of the brain still do. We just don't. I think we know about what 15, 20% of the brain can do. And then the rest of it's a goddamn mystery, dude. The pineal gland in general, like I was just talking about, right in the center, right in the dead center of your fucking brain, like center. We still have no idea what the fuck it actually does, besides it does release DMT. But a lot of people, again, before 30, 40 years ago, they had no understanding of what DMT did and what the value of it, why it was even there. I think there's something that if you study this too from the worldly perspective of science and math, you're not going to figure it out. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the thing. It's almost like a spiritual awakening. And that's something Dr. Strassman says too, is he was very frustrated with his research and even shut it down in 1995, if you remember that. Yeah. He was like, you know what? I got to take a break here. I feel irresponsible because I'm basically taking these people to the brink, pushing them off this cliff, and I'm not understanding what's going on. He's like, it's a spiritual experience. It's a spiritual phenomenon, is what he said, that people are starting, I can feel it now. People are starting to get a little bit weary of what I'm doing, even himself personally, which I love this guy. Talk about the opposite of the fucking CIA and MKUltra guys, right? He's like, look, if I'm going to kick back up research, especially about psychedelics like DMT, I can't just be doing it for fucking curiosity, right? I can't be doing it for psychological curiosity or just measuring fucking what's going on, because I'm still not understanding what's going on. Even him, he doesn't really know what is happening. He knows the side effects.
And we're not there yet to where we can. We don't have any way to understand or measure any of that because we've disregarded that for hundreds of years. And we even shunned people for being that way. We call people quacks or call people crazy, but that's not the case. There's a lot to be unlocked and to be studied with that part of the mind.
There really is, dude. So I mean, this to me, just like you said, I think this is an enlightening. I think this is an awakening of the brain, is what happens, and I want to say optimistically, what happens when you're under the influence of DMT or whatever, ayahuasca, it's still DMT at the end of the day.
Right.
You're getting to see another plane of existence, another realm that I think is reality, but unfortunately, normally we can't see. Right. So, and it's almost like, I want to say, and this is just my personal, but it almost might be the element of the gods, right? I mean, this is kind of like what's going on really underneath the surface of the material world. A couple other things though too that I just wanted to mention that I thought were great is a couple things that they had. I can't remember the lady's name, but she was the one that wasn't a very spiritual person at all till she took ayahuasca.
The nurse.
Yeah. And ayahuasca lasts for 4 or 5 hours, but it's a little bit more subtle and kind of streamlined than the shot in the fucking cannon fucking 15-minute fucking what the fuck just happened shit, But at the same time, she called it something like the divine realm, right? And she said where she got to this kind of end plane of existence, she felt like super scared, fucking fearful as fuck, no idea what's going on because everything is very foreign. Time has no concept, in this realm too. Like that one guy said, he's like, how long was I out? Thinking it was 1,000 years of information. He's like, 15 minutes. He's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But again, she had mentioned she reached the area where souls wait to be reborn. And it was a bright pink light that just felt like the essence of love and the essence of being, right? Or she also said something too, like maybe we have it backwards. Our whole psychiatric way of thinking that matter, meaning people, affects and creates the consciousness. I think it's the other way around. I think consciousness, the soul, the spirit is primary, and the secondary thing is matter or the body or the being. Very crazy shit. May sound like a basket case here, but you know what I'm saying? It's something that there's so much insightful, deep fucking craziness to this that it warrants a lot more discussion. And I think that these kind of psychedelics need to be implanted back into the cultural dialogue in a much bigger way, because right now we've got small sects, we've got drug users that talk about this, and we've got people that are physicians and psychiatrists that talk about it.
And let's be honest, they're shunned by the rest of their community.
And I was just about to say that too. Unfortunately, the people that are really interested in tapping into this untapped potential of the subconscious and the, I guess, definition of consciousness in the first place, you're absolutely right. Once they start tinkering around with this shit, you're a fucking quack. You're discredited. You might as well just not even be.
You're just in the science to get high.
Exactly. And honestly, I don't know if Rick Strassman ever did this shit. I don't even know. I don't even think he did. He's not like Terrence McKenna or Dennis McKenna. You know what I mean? So it is very interesting, man. But yeah, it definitely is something where total flip side to the MKUltra, total flip side to the rave or party element of acid and mushrooms and MDMA. Again, something purely natural, something universally in the entire world and every living being, maybe in other worlds. And it's this connection that kind of unlocks, again, the key to your conscious, the key to your being. So it's very, very interesting shit, man. I think it's something that I always enjoy talking about. So hopefully the Stiffies enjoy the rambling.
I know I do. It gives me time to drink.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob.
So we wanted to spend a little bit more time with DMT because in the last episode, we discussed LSD a lot. We reached into MDMA a lot and the benefits of both, really. But there just wasn't enough time to dip into DMT in the way that DMT deserves to have that attention drawn to it. It's different. It's natural. It's just a lot different than LSD. You know, people don't take MDT to trip like they do LSD. People want to see the trails. They want to have their good time when they do LSD, even though all of these drugs are non-addictive, by the way. So, but
there's that.
DMT though, some people only take DMT once in their life, and they're good.
And I'll be honest with you, I've done it 3 times. I told you this before the show.
Right.
I don't think I'll ever do it again. And here I am on a soapbox over here, and people are probably saying this guy's a fucking psycho, not psychopath. Like he's just going to keep doing this shit. But honestly, you're absolutely right. This is something we're literally, and I have to emphasize this. This is not something everybody needs to do or would benefit from. There's some people that actually would probably be fearful, scared, and they would get no value out of it. That's okay. Maybe you're just set up all right, man. Maybe you're not looking for anything else, or your mind's right? You know what I mean? I did it the few times that I did. I had amazing experiences. They were a little bit scary. They were very warm and they were very loving. I have almost no inclination to ever do it again. So there's that.
And that's kind of the point here is a lot of people will look, a lot of people that have never done anything or whatever, maybe have some beers or whatever, will look down on people like, oh, well, you're just you're a heroin addict, you're a cokehead, you're an acid head or whatever.
Yeah. So
they're so very different. And then DMT, above all else, is very, very different from what I have seen and from what I have researched and what I have read. Again, full disclosure, never done it. Would love to. It sounds pretty amazing, kind of scary, but never done it. Probably never will. Maybe one day. But
Bob, don't sell yourself short. But once COVID's over and I'm around you again, I've got a lot more influence when I'm in person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just I don't know. It's just a shame that people try to lump in these
amazingly beneficial
substances
substances.
and
Amazingly.
molecules. They try to lump them all together and put them into like reefer madness type of propaganda. And it's just ridiculous to me. There's so much to be learned, and there's so much to be observed, and there's so much to be used to move humanity forward, because this isn't our best version. It can't
No.
be.
And,
There's so much more, and we need to keep moving forward.
and I gotta piggyback off this and go ahead and say, and I think we've talked
I'm
about
emailing
it before.
Dr. Strassman, by the way.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, please do. He probably will follow up with us. But what I'm saying here, dude, is you're absolutely right. This is not only not our best version of society and humans. I think we're regressing a little bit. I hate to be a negative Nancy here, but you know what I mean? There's just been too much that's been happening lately that gives me this feeling that humankind is not reached its full potential and might be going backwards in a sense. You know what I mean? And not remembering what's truly important because we are so focused on material problems. And don't get me wrong, they're very important, right? We have to deal with them every day when we wake up, when we go to sleep. Material things and worldly things are always going to be there. But I think if we peel back the onion a couple layers, man, and as a whole, these kind of molecules can, especially for the people that need it and are searching for it, can help them with the betterment of their lives, their understanding of life and the value of life, the value of the world, the value of society, and the value of the world in general. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. And I might have repeated myself once there, but that's okay.
That is okay. And you're absolutely right. We need to quit selling ourselves short and limiting ourselves. If all of humanity just had a little sliver, a little slice of optimism,
Slice it up.
If they had a little slice of optimism that I live with all the time, would be better off.
Bobby Rainbows over here. Bobby Rainbows.
But I think that's it. I think we're way over time, but it was important for us to get all of this out there. What a good show. We didn't really have many topics to talk about, but that's because we knew that the topics that we were talking about, we had so much to say.
Yeah, honestly, I think just giving the Stiffies a little bit of how we do things after the show and critique ourselves. We probably could have just went straight to fucking talking about 9/11, and it would have been a 2-hour show.
Right.
But hey, that's okay, guys. Again, we're not going to fucking apologize. We think I honestly think this is going to be very, very insightful. I think this is going to be a great show. I think people are going to get a lot out of this.
Well, sorry, Scott, to interrupt, but this was our best show. I'd already told everyone, so there's no
you kind of disclaimed that right from the get-go, didn't you? No, but all kidding aside, guys, we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, guys, get out there when you're super drunk, even when you're not drunk and you're just lazy, and use Instacart. It's a great fucking service, man. I'm just going to go ahead and plug it one more time. I mean, they are not sponsoring the show by any means. They're just affiliated with us. So check them out. Check us out too. If you haven't already, we do have some pretty fun backgrounds this week, as we always do on the YouTube channel, as we do this show live and on video.
But of course, do that after you've listened on our podcast platform.
Yeah, that's it's a little bit more important to us. But no, but guys, like and subscribe if you can. Get on there, rate us on Apple. In fact, just blow the fuck out of Apple. Something's going on in Apple. We're starting to get a lot of fucking downloads. We're loving that. Check us out on Spotify or the other platforms if you want to. And thanks again for listening to me and Bob just go on and on, have some cocktails. I hope you guys enjoyed some cocktails as well. And maybe you mixed up a Surfer on Acid. And if you didn't, go mix one up after the show. But other than that, Bob, I've got nothing else to say. You want to take us away?
That's it. I really appreciate all of our Stiffies out there. You know, you let us into your lives every week, and we always come through. Next week will be our 28th episode. So meaning that we've done the show for half of a year without missing a week. We like to deliver content, and we like to keep upping our game and keeping that consistency for you guys, because we really do this for you guys. This is a great show, and it's a great platform for us to kind of spread the message that we think people need to hear. And if you don't need to hear it, fuck off. But we love you. and please stay tuned next week. We'll have another one. Look forward to our stiff drinks. We'll go ahead and announce it on Facebook. So if you guys want to join us and our weird, crazy cocktails that we like to find every week, you're more than welcome to. But again, thank you for joining us for this extra long episode. And we will see you all next week.
Hell yeah. Take care and take a trip.
See ya.